Ooh, hey, sorry for the loud noise. Hey, welcome to Table Moments Live. I'm your host and Captain Ayman. This is a podcast about anything and everything, but no politics, or at least try my best to avoid politics. But you guys drag it in there. Um, I have some topics prepared. Those of you who are new here, it's really just conversational style. I read comments, I riff off of those. You guys respond to what I say, and it's just a good time. Usually I do these on Sundays, but I missed Sunday. And then yesterday, which was Monday, I actually was invited by Armed Atlas from Costly Conversations. He interviewed me, and we actually had a pretty cool discussion. We talk about the theme of his podcast, which are pew pews. I don't know if I can actually say it depending on which platform, but you get the idea. That's the center of his kind of podcast. But we also talk about social media, learnings that I've gotten from Instagram, his some of the things that he's learned, and we just try to give some free game on what the experience is like making content. And it was a really cool discussion. It's an hour and 20 minutes, and I'll put it in the chat here for you guys. You guys should be able to see this. Please watch it. I'm not going to beg you guys to watch it. I know it's a good episode, so just take a look. I didn't realize how bad my microphone was though, and I don't know. I have this like nose problem for whatever reason. As soon as the lights go on, because I got a light here, a light here, it's like maybe it's like some sensitivity with sinuses or whatever. But yeah, that's there's a lot of me sniffling in it, and I got to upgrade the microphone too. I've been putting it off for a while, but and that's the thing when it comes to like starting something, don't feel like you have to upgrade everything immediately or at the beginning you have to have everything right. You really don't. Uh, yeah, could things be better? Sure, but in the end, it's just a matter of whether you start or not. And it turns out even having suboptimal equipment or even suboptimal ideas, as long as it as long as you can start making content, you're gonna learn. Or as soon as you start doing anything, you're gonna start learning, even if it sucks. And that's essentially the approach I did. This microphone here, I got it as a gift years ago. When for this podcast, literally, and I haven't replaced it. Not that it has sentimental value. It literally is just it's what I have, so I use it. And then I have another microphone here that I use for the TikTok lives. This one was definitely an upgrade purchase. And if I could route the connection from this to, maybe I should just do that. Maybe I'll do that for the next stream. But yeah, man, don't worry about equipment and stuff in the beginning. It always sucks in the beginning. But yeah, I'll be upgrading that soon. Topics. Okay. Wallet update. So you guys know I've been selling these wallets here, minimalist wallets, on my shop, tamo.tv. I'll put it here in the chat, https://tamo.tv. I've been running Facebook ads to share this with a wider audience, and I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. The finances of e-commerce and small business, and how to balance the equation on like how much it costs to get new customers versus the cost of the product itself, and how the cost of the product might actually influence people's perception of the product. So my prices might be too low for a wider audience. I was literally thinking about this today, like setting it at 1997, essentially $20 for these wallets, especially considering wallets are things people tend to spend more money on than just $20. What it might be conveying is that it's a scam, or it's not worth it, or it must be low quality, even though it's not. It's like laser cut with fused edges that I hand make. And I hand make them, so the overhead is really low, so I can offer this at $20. It doesn't look like anything substantial, but I mean, this is ripstop. It's nylon. And I make them. But setting it at $20 might be too low, that it gives a false impression that it might not be quality. And this is true for an audience who isn't familiar with who I am or what I do. For those of you who've been following the account, you guys know who I am. You come to the live streams, you know what this is, and you know me. And so you know, like, I'm an engineer. I like optimization. I like building. I like creating. And so when I do offer something, I want to offer it to you guys at a deal, like, so that it's a no-brainer and you guys actually feel like you've gotten deep value. And so that's what I've done with these. So $20 is a great price point for people who know me, but it might be doing the opposite effect for people who don't when I'm running Facebook ads to a wider audience, which is essentially the way I can figure this could be sustainable in the long term. So that's what I'm thinking about that idea. Also, which I've been warned, my positioning on this when I market this stuff might be a little off. Originally, I was using the idea of a front pocket wallet, but the problem with that is a lot of people, I guess, don't carry their wallets in the front pocket. I'm trying to force a new idea, which is something I personally do because I think it makes more sense there instead of sitting on it. But but since I classify it that way, and most people don't consider using their wallets that way, anytime they onto the page from an ad, they might be thinking that it doesn't apply to them because it's meant for the front pocket. So I've changed the branding and my positioning. Instead of calling it a front pocket wallet, I'm just calling it a forgot it in your pocket wallet. And this is thanks to some feedback I've gotten from multiple people who've said it's so thin, I forget that it's even in my pocket. And I think that's interesting. And they say it in a positive way. And then so I even changed some of the copy on the website to basically say, yes, it's too thin. Like you'll forget that it's in your pocket. You'll constantly pat your back. You'll constantly, you know how guys, we always do that tap, that 3 tap, right pocket, left pocket, back pocket to check the wallet. And so it's like you'll constantly tap your bum to double check that it's still there. Sorry, not sorry. And that's the messaging I'm going with. And I think I'm going to lean in that direction with the slight humor in this stuff. And I think that could work, but we'll see. We'll see. And I'm just experimenting. And I think I want to make a series of videos where I just explain like trying to grow this e-commerce thing. Maybe it could be useful for some of you guys out there who are interested in selling something. Or if you guys actually want to or have ideas on how to improve this stuff, because I've actually gotten a chance to meet someone who actually bought the wallet. He wasn't a fan of Table Moments one way or the other. He just saw the post on Instagram and he decided to buy it, and he really enjoyed it. And so I was like, okay, maybe I am onto something here. And all this is experimentation. I don't know what the long term of this stuff is going to look like, but I'll show it in real time. And I show the R&D process as IG stories. And so right now I'm experimenting with like different, wait, let me get it. These different corners to add to the edges, the corners of the wallets, or like this one here, I think might work well. I just ordered another set that I think are more modest that I think I might be able to include. So essentially these like corners here. Let's see, let it focused, cool. And then if you just put it on the corner there, that could be kind of a flex. And I have all these different variations. So I'm sharing the R&D design, and I just bought a box of different types. And these are normally used for like book corners and photo frames or photos, but I'm thinking it might be useful for this. This is a little too thick, but there's all these different variations like this, and there's brass ones too, there's silver ones too. I think these are a little too ornate than what I would like, but it would be cool to give you guys the option to like customize it and be able to add your own flair to your own wallet, and also give it a more premium feel. The sizing of this is a little too big, I'm not gonna lie. It's like, but the smaller ones make a lot more sense. So like here, this one right here, it could work maybe, but I just ordered some more modest ones that might be better. And then we also got like the rose gold here too, which is kind of cool. And so like, I think it'd be cool to add all this customization, and that can increase the price point of these things, and essentially means that I can upsell, essentially increase the average order value, and then we could talk about the e-commerce stuff. But I think it's pretty cool that I'm exploring on how to improve this stuff in real time and sharing it as part of IG stories. And I think IG stories are like the perfect way to like share quick 1-minute updates about things that are going on daily and that don't require much editing or any editing at all. And I've been enjoying that, or even sharing like little gems or things I run into that might be useful for you guys. So the stories I'm trying to turn into a value play. You get just as much value from the stories IG stories as you do the regular posts. And I think that's interesting. I don't know if a lot of people put as much effort into their stories as they do the regular posts, but I think it would be interesting if I did that. Other topics. All right, so I talked about costly conversations. Check out that live stream I did with Armed Atlas on YouTube. It's linked in the on the chat. Also released the episode with Abdalim, the founder of Everything the Brand. We talk about how to start a brand, his journey into clothing and fashion, and how he's integrated integrated augmented reality into fashion, and how he integrates the two with physical and digital. And it's an interesting idea, which he's been experimenting for his own brand, Everything, the brand, What's Your Everything, but also giving creatives and artists and musicians access to this technology that he's putting together through his brand. And it's an interesting take on how to build a brand, his experience. And if you are interested in starting a brand, consider watching that live stream or that interview with him. It's the latest episode of the Table Moms podcast. You can find it you can find it on this YouTube page. It's a really cool conversation. And then I'll be posting shorts related to that this week on the shorts feed. Another topic is, wait, did I get everything here? Yeah, and we could talk about it if you guys have any questions. Or leave it in the comment section if you guys have any feedback for that. Also talk about a video I posted basically explaining how the stock market's rigged. And there's this really good book on it called Flash Boys that explains high frequency trading and how computers have essentially allowed people to make riskless trades, essentially never lose money when they trade on the stock market. And I actually found the book at Goodwill literally last week for like $3, and I bought it and I'm rereading it. And I don't know, man, this author, his writing style is so easy to read. I already cranked through like almost half the book in like a day. It's crazy. And so I've just been rereading it, and I'm understanding it even more now since I'm older, because I think when I first read it, I was younger, in college maybe. But definitely a good book, and we can talk about how the rigging actually happens. And then another video I posted about audience capture. But all right, so that's the extra on YouTube. I'm gonna add the guys on TikTok, and then we'll continue this whole live stream. But thanks for watching, whoever you are. Let's see. Let's close that. Let's go profile. Live event today. Let's go live. I don't know, the angle of this is always weird. Let me adjust it here. Let's go live. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, welcome to Table Moms Live. Welcome. Man, my nose. I gotta really figure this out, why it starts running as soon as I do a live stream, or anytime I'm on camera or something. Let's make sure this microphone works. It's not like getting caught up in the hoodie. I like hoodies, and I might be making one soon. Hey everyone, welcome to Table Moms. Just waiting for the people to join on TikTok. And then let me check the stream on Twitch. Doretta RN, what's up? What's it like being a nurse? Guys, be careful around nurses. And I think Doretta would warn you about that too. Nurses are kind of wild. It's a profession where you see a lot of crazy stuff, and it's sort of like, I don't know if they're jaded necessarily, but they're definitely a type of person, or they become a certain way. Aaliyah, how's it going? Amber, what's up? How's everyone doing? Welcome to Table Moms Live. Table Moms Live. Obadiah, hey. Fullback, Charles Simpson. How's everyone doing? For those of you who don't know, I'm the host of the Table Moms podcast. Ayman. We talk about anything and everything. We try to avoid politics, but you guys always bring it up because it's you guys watch too much news. I'm also live streaming on YouTube and Twitch. If you guys want higher quality video, horizontal, I'm there. I wish TikTok could do it too, but whatever. Just dealing with it as it is right now. And for whatever reason, like the filters on these are weird. I have some topics prepared, but what do you guys have in your mind? For an experiment, can you shine a flashlight on your head? I don't have a flashlight though. That's, I mean, I think like everyone, our phones have become our flashlights. So I'm using it right now. So no, I can't. As much as I want to be cooperative, which I'm realizing like on the live stream, there's certain things I don't mind doing, but I also don't like being told what to do. So it's like this fine balance of like, do not let the audience capture you. And I heard someone say this once. You kind of have to hate your audience a little bit, otherwise you're just gonna like jump through hoops for them, and then essentially become like a monkey show. And you got to be careful about that. But you guys are all strangers, so it is what it is. How's your mental, bro? For real, how you doing? My mental's good. Just dealing with interesting problems, and I like interesting problems. Like right now, I'm figuring out marketing for these wallets I sell. I make these, hand make these. These are minimalist wallets. You can find it on TikTok Shop. Obviously, everyone's selling something on TikTok Shop, but I kind of want to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Not Facebook Marketplace, Facebook, using Facebook ads. Because I don't know, I'm not a fan of TikTok Shop, although I do have them listed here. I don't know. I think everyone has just been conditioned to believe that products should be incredibly cheap, or at least super, super affordable, lower than it would make sense to sell them anywhere else. And I don't care to attract those type of customers. Like it sucks selling to people who are trying to bargain discounts off of something that costs $10. Like what? It's like you spend more on a Chipotle bowl, and so it's just crazy. But I have them listed. But I would recommend, if you're interested in minimalism and wallets, don't buy it through TikTok Shop. But my mental's cool because I've just been getting to work on interesting problems. And interesting problems just make for an interesting life. Not necessarily hard problems. Hard problems suck. Well, not even that. Hard problems are interesting too. But difficult problems aren't necessarily bad either. I don't know. Problems aren't necessarily bad. They make life interesting. If everything came easy, life wouldn't be worth living. Like it wouldn't. And so right now I'm trying to figure out this like balance with Facebook ads and like making sure the creative works, and where am I losing people, because my click-through rate is high enough, I think, but then I'm losing people when they get to the website and not actually converting. And so it's just like, all right, so I can get them to click and look at the website, but not necessarily make the purchase. So what am I missing? And so I'm updating pictures, and then also trying to improve the product design. And I'm sharing all this live in real time as IG stories with people of the Table Moments podcast who follow me on Instagram. And it's just been cool just connecting with people. So also do interviews and stuff and podcasts or whatever, which has always been cool. Oh, thank you. Arira. Appreciate it. Me and my wife need prayer. We are here at the hospital saying goodbye to our daughter. She passed. I'm sorry to hear that. I'll make a prayer for you. That sucks. Hey, Khalil. How's it going? Why do you... Oh, it's owling. Okay. Hey, nice to see you here. Arira. Is that... I don't know. Like, I think I'm just going to call you owling from now on. Reefus Fishing. Connecticut, Florida, Reefus Fishing. Stop playing and put some chapstick on. No. Is that better? Oh man, I shouldn't have done that on stream. I know how freaky a lot of you guys are. Can you pray for me, please? What do you need the prayer? What exactly do you want us to pray for? I mean, a general prayer, I don't know if it's that useful, but yeah, Hen King. Hey man, how's it going, dude? I'm good. This is my personal account. How many accounts do you have? I beef with Ethiopians on here. Why? You lived in Ethiopia though. Be friendly. Ethiopia was your home. You were a Addis native. And now you're like, why are you beefing with Ethiopians? Isn't it interesting? Wait, so if I if I remember correctly, you lived in Ethiopia for a large part of your life, although you're technically Eritrean. So it's just I don't know. That's a little weird. As a black artist, I'm struggling when it comes to starting a platform for my work. Any advice? What do you mean, a social platform? If it's for work and it's business related, LinkedIn seems to be the place to be. Um, and I don't like the LinkedIn energy, but I mean, if it's centered around work and corporate stuff, then that's apparently the place to be. I don't spend time there because I like being edgy. Uh, TikTok and Instagram are my primary, and I'm focusing on YouTube now. But Valentine's went well. Oh, really? What'd you end up planning? Yes. Yeah, so LinkedIn is what I would say. I think you can actually get some pretty decent reach on LinkedIn right now. Because I don't think content creators who are active on all the other platforms are actually active on LinkedIn. So there's less competition. But I think people are starting to understand that LinkedIn might be the platform. Except I'm too edgy for it. Like I see people, posting their updates on their work history and their jobs. It's like, oh, I just got hired at this place and I really love all the BS stuff that people write when they get first hired at a place, or I don't know. It's just a lot of political correctness, and I've never been about that. So, but I mean, if it's work related, then it makes sense. If you're like giving game as an artist or an industry professional, and you're just giving useful information, that's a great place to do it because there are plenty of people who are really active there. Just be careful you don't attract people who are looking for jobs, but rather people who have jobs. Because, like, it kind of sucks, sorry to say, to have an audience full of people who are looking for jobs because they don't have money to spend. If eventually you want to turn it into a business or something, it sucks, but yeah, that's just how it works. Which is why, like a business like a resume consultant, isn't necessarily a good business because the only people who would ever hire a resume consultant are people who are looking for jobs. And of course, people who are looking for jobs typically don't have extra money to spend. So it's like, it sucks. It sucks how commerce ends up working that way. The only people who have their problem solved are people with money. But that's just the nature of it. And so it's just like, you know, like Alex Hormozy says this, like solve rich people problems. They're easier to work with and they pay better, which is both true. But I mean, that's the world we live in, where only rich people get to have, or people with money get to have things solved for them. Poor people have problems too. Like, I don't know. This is why I respect people who are just trying to actually make things affordable, because there's no, yeah, there isn't a lot of appreciation out there, at least fiscally, for that type of work. But I think it's more important work because it brings it creates the future that we all want, a future of abundance. And that can only happen if people actually try to solve things that affect most people, which tend to be people who don't have a lot of money or disposable income. They tombstone my whole family damn near. Where have you been? For real? Like for real, for real? Eesh. I like being edgy, anonymous. Yeah. Italian dinner, got her flowers, Target gift card. Nice. Did you get her one of those like Stanley tumblers? She got me books I like to read. She loves Target. Oh, cool. What kind of books do you like reading? Because I've been reading too, and I like nonfiction typically. I'm trying to find a website I can start working on my art portfolio. What do you mean try to find a website? If you go, all right, let me give you a website. Let me know. I don't know if this applies to you, but this is the website I put together for these wallets I sell. Let me know if you have any advice or how you would fix it or improve it. HTTPS colon backslash, let's see, tamo.tv. That's the website. Um, We don't have a topic, man. We never talk. We never have topics, um, but we just let the conversation go wherever it goes. Does money buy happiness? I don't think so. Money does solve like bad problems. It does solve misery for sure. Or at least no, no, no. I don't know if it solves misery. It does solve physical problems. Physical problems, the things of the flesh, for sure it solves. And I've been getting into Christianity a lot lately, so I've been really understanding this like dichotomy between the spirit and the flesh and this whole thing. So money solves fleshly. Ugh, that sounds nasty. Money solves problems of the flesh, but it doesn't solve problems of the spirit. So, no. If happiness is related to the spirit, no, it doesn't. Like, I think, whoa, I'm just realizing, yo, that might be it. That might be it. The whole flesh and spiritual thing. It's like problems of the flesh can be solved with stuff of the world. So, are you hungry? Money can buy you food. Are you ill? Do you have some illnesses or whatever? Or like, you can use medication or treatment or surgery to solve those things. But if happiness is a spiritual thing, then money or anything in the physical world cannot solve that. And so, yo, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to think about that a little more. What do you guys think? Yo, that's crazy, bro. I swear the Bible has all the answers, guys. It has all the answers. Poor people have problems too. Exactly, Maya. Exactly. Relationship advice in an emotional way. I mean, this as in I'm constantly overstimulated and wanting his emotional support. Well, what does that mean? I think could you like say that in a very concise and overt way? My man brain is having a hard time understanding that female splaining. Sorry. I think you're asking a legitimate question. I just don't know what it is. Because people recommend Squarespace. Oh, to build your own website. You could do Squarespace. What else could you do? If you're going to be selling stuff, Shopify is interesting. Well, what could you use instead of Squarespace? You can use domains.google.com. Google domains actually, not Google domains. Domains. No. What is it? Let me check it. Google sites. So you can try that at least in the near term. If you have a Google account, go to sites.google.com. And you know how you can basically make, Google has sheets, they have docs, they have all this stuff. They have forums, they also have sites. You can actually put together your own website. It's free, it comes with your Google account. It is very limited in what you can do, but it might be enough. And then if you learn a little bit of HTML and CSS, you can customize the look. And so this is where I would say go to Free Code Camp, take their HTML and CSS course, and then you'll be able to make modifications to this Google site. And it's free. It's free. So sites.google.com, sites.google.com, and just use your Google account. And then if you like what you build there, then maybe you can then pay for Squarespace. And here's the thing. The cool thing about Google Sites is you can buy your own domain too. So like, let's say it's going to be like mayacreative.com or something like that. You can buy that .com from like one of these domain providers. Google used to have one, but they recently sold it to Squarespace. I use Pork Bun. I prefer that, but it does require a little bit of setup. But the cool thing about Google Sites is you can point that to your Google site, and so then it becomes your like sort of portfolio website with your own name.com. So look into that, so you don't have to pay, at least while you're still learning. Currently reading The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. Okay, The Measure. The Measure, Nikki Ehrlich. Cool. What's that about? The Measure. Oh, it's a novel. Okay, cool. Bro, Black Mr. Clean. Kinda, yeah. Except my beard isn't clean. Yeah. I was raised Christian and have an uncle who is a pastor. Oh, okay. When I speak to him about how I feel as if he's not listening to me. Is he not is he actually not listening to you, or does it just seem like he's not listening to you? If he's actually not listening to you, here's the thing. Like, a lot of you women are not going to like to hear this, but sometimes you guys speak without actually, you guys say a lot, and us guys, we have to sort of like navigate, is this a serious situation or is she just venting? And based on it, we give it the amount of attention that it deserves, you know? Not everything you say requires full, intense attention. Sometimes you guys are just venting and be like, oh, really? Wait, she did what? Huh? And it's just like, okay, it's one of those you just need to let it out kind of situations. Or it could be one of those situations where it's like really serious and you need to be heard and you need some feedback or some response that helps you work your way through whatever emotional things you're going through. And for us guys, it's hard to discern which one's which, okay? Because you guys just talk a lot. So if it's the latter, where it's the more serious, you're actually looking for a solution type thing, and you need help navigating the emotions you're feeling, and he is the steady rock that you're trying to get some support on, like speaking to him about how you feel, tell him that this is one of those moments, and then he can put in his mind in that sort of zone, because it's kind of hard to tell sometimes with you ladies. So, and give him some grace too. Like, he's not going to get it right a lot. Probably the beginning, if it's a new relationship or it's been a while, if you guys have never had this discussion before, give him some grace. It's going to take him some time to get to that moment, or that point where he can see that happening, without you having to say it. But it's still appreciated when you guys are clear about it. I hope that helps. Like, my girl says that to me sometimes too, and I think we're at a point where we're actually working to navigate these places better, and responsibility falls on both of you guys, because you're going to be how you're going to be, okay? And you need that support. I get it, but if it's not clear and you're expecting them to like read your mind to figure out which situation it is, that is unfair. It is unfair. So I hope that's helpful. And yeah, in today's world, do you feel like it's important to have multiple streams of income? I mean, you know, I've thought about this. It depends on how vulnerable your mainstream of income actually is. So it depends on how your mainstream of income is. If it's employment, I think over the last like 2-3 years, even in the past, people are realizing jobs, steady paychecks are not guaranteed. And we realize employers aren't as loyal as we wish they were, despite them using all this rhetoric about we're one family, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, okay. And then as soon as your stock price drops and there's a downturn in the economy, you let everybody go because you're not being able to meet your quarterly projections for the next 2 quarters, you know? And it's just like, all right. So this is where I think the idea of multiple streams of income come in. But if you're independent, if you make your money in an independent way, or you run a small business that serves a need or purpose that is essentially timeless, where people will always need it, and you're willing to adapt and grow and take on the responsibility that comes with it, then I don't know if you need multiple, because it's going to require all your attention anyways to just make that one thing work. So I don't know. I honestly don't know if you need multiple streams. I mean, if you have that one thing that works, then focus is always better. So like, you can work on 5 different things and they can all produce some money. Or you can focus on one thing and it produces 10 times as much as the sum of all the different streams. So it really depends. I've been reading Nassim Taleb's Anti-Fragile, and he describes a story of like 2 brothers, one of them who works like a corporate job and another one who works like as a taxi driver, and how the taxi driver's income is really varied day by day, week by week, month by month, but people always need rides. And so it's anti-fragile and it's stable, at least. And so it doesn't matter if there's a downturn in the economy or or anything changes, he's a cab driver. People need to be moved, and he will always be able to make money. It might just be a matter of how much he makes per hour that varies, but he'll always be able to make it. Whereas his brother, who works in the a corporate job, working in this very specific field, in like accounting or whatever, and if there's an economic downturn, he loses his job. It's very unlikely, or it's if he can find another in a downturn of the economy, if you get fired, it's unlikely that another business in that area doing that same job will be thriving enough to be able to hire people. So, which is, I think, happening right now in the tech space. Like a lot of people are being let go, and all the companies are behaving the same way, letting people go, which means jobs aren't there, unless you're like exceptional in some way. And so, this idea that you'll be able to get another job isn't necessarily there when everyone isn't hiring. And so it's just an interesting way to frame it all. Oil me down, please. Go to a masseuse, bro. I frequently think about doing various things part-time for extra income. Yeah, I mean, it's always worth exploring interesting ideas. I would say just pursue things that interest you. And the money part, I think, is important because it sort of justifies the work. But I don't know, I always have this debate with myself, like, are things only worth doing if you can make money from it? Or can you figure out the money part later? And then would you want, like, some people are hustlers, okay? Like, I've met people who the act of making money is enough motivation for them to continue doing it. And they don't care what they're doing as long as they're making money doing it. And those are, I don't know if these people realize they are different. They are different from the rest of us, or at least they're different from me. For me, I have to actually care about the work for me to care to even make money doing it. You can show me this very lucrative opportunity. If I hate the work, I'm not doing it. I don't care about money like that. And I know this is a hard thing for people to understand, but I just don't. It's like, all right. So it's just, it doesn't work for me, but maybe it works for you. And if you're one of those types who are like, as long as I make money from it, that's what motivates me and I get energy out of this thing, go ahead. Feel free to pursue. I always think it's worth it to learn things just for the sake of learning them, not even necessarily to make money. And then if you get some extra income, that's great. And then decide what you want to do with it. I don't know. I'm still figuring this out. I'm literally trying to figure out how to sell these things that I make myself, these minimalist wallets. And I've gotten sales and I've made money. And so it's like, for me at this point, the thing that motivates me is it's something, an idea I came up with, I put together, I use interesting tools to make it happen. So I use a laser cutter to cut out the patterns. And then I use an impulse sealer to actually fuse the edges instead of sewing it, which I like the technology part. I like the inventing part. And then I got to a point where I was like, all right, let me see if I can turn this into a productize it and see if I can share it with other people, because this is something I personally use myself. I use it every day. And then figuring out how to make money off of it. And I've made money off of it. So it's just like, it's so cool to like put an idea out there. But then I'm constantly like thinking about improvements, because the fun part for me is the invention. It's the optimization, it's the design, it's the creative part. And then the money is a reflection of all that. And so right now, even I've been experimenting with Facebook ads because it's cool selling it to the Table Moments audience. But I think in order to make this sustainable, it has to be something I can generate demand anytime I need it, instead of like just relying on you guys. So I've been experimenting with Facebook ads, and now there's a whole host of problems of like, all right, how do you acquire a customer? How do you get someone to click that ad? How do you get them on the website, reading the copy, and finally making that conversion, that purchase? And so like, I'm learning all this stuff, and I like the learning part. And so to me, it's just an interesting problem, the result of which, if I solve this problem, is making money, but it's not motivated by the money. It's motivated by the just trying to solve the problem. It's interesting, and it keeps my brain tickled, so it's cool. Also, getting to do Table Moments long term because of that is cool too. I felt like today I really needed to be heard. I had an extremely hard day, and I was explaining that to him as he asked from me, and I wanted a small solution of comfort from him. Sounds like you needed a hug too. Feel free to just like, hey, tell him straight up. Like, us guys, you guys correct me if I'm wrong here, but I would assume like other men are like me, where we do appreciate just some frankness and candor in what you need when you're telling us stuff and we're not behaving the way you need us to. Not necessarily we're doing it. Obviously, we have obligations to each other. When one needs has needs the other can fulfill, then we help each other. But like if you're not clear and upfront, like stupidly obvious, then you might not realize what you're going through, and obviously you're going through your emotional state, and because it feels like he's not supportive, it just becomes this like compounding thing, and so you're getting less of it, and he's like, what the hell happened? I thought we were cool, because he never knew, or he didn't understand what you were going through, and so now he's dealing with this thing between you guys, and then it's just like this mess for no reason, when it could be avoided by simply saying, hey babe, I'm really going through something right now, could you give me a moment to help me through this? And be like, oh, okay, it's one of those, gotcha. You know, make it easy, or at least make the beginning easy, and you'll work through it. But I need to do better on not trying to monetize every last aspect of my life. I don't know. I mean, like if that's, I don't know. I can't tell people not to make money, you know, like money isn't my motivation, but for a lot of people it is. And I've been trying to make myself more that way, but I'm not. To me, it's just paper. Like, it's funny. Like, you know, like I have a stack. This is just money, guys. It's just money. This is regular money. That's all it is. The only reason why I have these $2 bills is because I include it as part of the purchase of the wallet. I think it's cool. It's a little Easter egg. And so I have all these like $2 bills just lying around. I don't do anything with them other than include them as part of the wallet purchase. It's just money. It's paper. It's just paper. And it literally looks like paper. I know it looks fake, but it's real. It's real. I got this from Wells Fargo. I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing, Khalil, is what I'm saying. We need money to live. Yeah, but up to a point. And then what? And then what? You know? That's the thing. So like, did you make a New Year's resolution? If so, how are you doing on it? I didn't make a New Year's resolution. I don't really believe in resolutions. I'm just like, if I want to make a change and I'm serious about it, then I just start. That's how I do it. I think people use, yeah, Dell. Yeah, try that and let me know how it goes. I hope it's useful advice. And then you can also DM me and say, yeah, none of that worked. I'd be like, okay, then it's a different problem. But I don't know, most guys are cool guys, okay? They're kind men. Most men are kind men. And if they just if you made it clear about the situation, men want to help you. Your dude, especially, he's in a relationship with you, he wants to help you. Like the way you would want to help him if he was in need, at least in certain senses. But so yeah, that's my position on resolutions though. Like, just go do it. If it's something you're serious about, then just start. And yeah, you'll slip up, but I mean, yeah, like I think waiting till the end of the year to finally set it is sort of like a cop out, to not actually get started. And so then you can indulge in the thing without actually getting started. So send some of that just money to my bank account then. I think it'd be really cool one day to just like help people out like that. That'd be really cool. Just like, yeah, man, I could use a little something in my bank account. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, here. It'd be cool to do that one day. Like, I really don't care. It'd be cool. So cool. Not for the sake of like Mr. Beast style, but like you actually need it. Because sometimes, you just have that. Sometimes we have these moments in our life where several things go wrong at the same time. And you just need a break. And I think that would be cool to be there. Or, you know what would be really interesting? Like, if I had enough to, like, large amounts of disposable income, I would actually start a zero interest bank for Muslims to be able to buy homes without interest. That's the problem. A lot of them end up having to deal with. They can't get mortgages because of riba. It's essentially usury interest. They can't pay interest. They can't agree to any debts that involve interest. They can borrow money, but they can't borrow money that includes interest. And so there aren't really any banks that do that. Yeah, they have Islamic banks and stuff, but even they play around with the rules and the pricing of the purchase to essentially make it all work. And I think a bank like that would essentially be losing money on purpose, but that's okay because what else was I going to do with the money, you know? And so like it would just need a lot of, and it would be cool to have that bank be able to make housing purchases that sort of push home construction technology. And so they're incentivized. The bank would be incentivized to use more interesting or new construction methods that dramatically reduce the cost of home construction. And then just because I think it's part of the human spirit to want something of your own. I mean, owning a house doesn't really make sense in the practical sense, but it makes sense in the spiritual sense of having something to call yourself or call your own. So I think that'd be cool. Hello, Kappa. Fresh 18. What is up with your profile pictures though? I don't understand, man. they're different on every social platform. There's a way around it. Banks just offer Islamic mortgages by calling it the interest a fee. Yeah, but I mean, like actual devout Muslims, I don't know if they can get away with that. What they've done, I've actually seen this. They usually, some of them I've seen go to Habitat for Humanity, which is originally designed to help people get into homes in an affordable way. And Habitat also puts together some programs that Muslims can participate in. Where's my great wallet, bruh? I don't know. I sent it in the mail. It should be arriving. If it hasn't arrived, it should be arriving soon. Yeah. So I sent it, is what I'm saying. I sent it. I love your synthetic wig. Thank you, Jayla. Unless it's already arrived and you're just playing games here. Did you actually send it? Yeah, I did send it. I sent it. So that's the thing. Like I'm actually looking into USPS business mail tracking because right now I just put a stamp on it. So I don't know when it will arrive. But there's a way I can add like a sort of like barcode, a unique barcode for USPS. So I should be able to eventually be able to track these in real time to see where it is, at least right before it gets delivered to you. But I think it could take up to a week, which sucks. It'd be cool to be able to make these wallets in multiple parts of the country and then use first class letter mail to send it to you guys. And it would be cool if it could arrive in like 2 days. That'd be really cool. I think churches should pay taxes, not the small ones, mega ones especially. I don't know. I think that sounds great in theory, but imagine the influence churches have. If you tax them, then they have every right to speak on politics. And then imagine the influence they would have. Now, right now, yeah, churches still speak on politics, but not at the level that PACs can. But wait till the churches, there are 400,000 churches in America, man. Like imagine all of them deciding or being able to influence all the people who attend their church in a certain political direction. I think people in government realize how big of a mistake that would be because then America might actually become Christian again. Who knows? You know, so I don't know. It sounds great in theory, but in practice, it means churches now can dive into politics and the influence that a lot of them already have can be applied in that direction. Can't wait to use it. Now the answer this, what makes your wallet different from mine? The answer this, what's your wallet? This one's super thin. And yeah, so I'll DM you if it hasn't arrived by the end of the week. It should. And I think I sent it like, I forget when I sent it, but I did send it. So let the mega pastors get millions tax-free while we pay. I'm pretty sure the pastors end up paying taxes as income tax. So the churches, as organizations, don't pay taxes on that money, which I don't think any business should be taxed at all, because a business is just an entity, and you're taxing the people who. That's the nature of the income tax, right? So it's just like, why are you taxing an entity that isn't actually a person? You know, corporate taxes don't make any sense to me at all. Like, wait, so you're gonna tax the profits of the corporation, but the corporation pays people, and then the people who get paid as income pay taxes on that income. And so it's like there's a lot of double, triple dipping going on here, guys. Depending on how you set up your tax, whatever. It'd be cool to maybe that's what I should do. The next person I should interview, there is a guy I know who really loves tax law. So I think it'd be interesting to interview. I'm going to reach out to him actually. Thank you for the inspiration, man. As far as mega pastors getting millions tax free, it's just if it's income, personal, obviously they're probably doing some shady accounting tactics where they're actually benefiting or enjoying a lot of the church's properties and stuff that it has. So it's not technically payment, probably what they're doing, but I mean, like every corporation does this. So, I mean, I don't like it. I don't like the mega churches. I don't like the opulence. I don't like the prosperity gospel either. But I mean, okay. Like I'm literally reading a book on Wall Street, high frequency trading, and how shady the stock market really is. How these people are basically seeing trades happen on one exchange, beating you to the other exchange, essentially stealing pennies not stealing, basically gouging pennies at a time from every trade by any investment bank or retirement fund that your retirements are a part of. Essentially being able to make pennies at a time, but you do it billions of times, it stacks up. And that's what's happening in the stock market right now. And the SEC is probably okay with it all. And so it's just like, all right, we're going to focus on churches and not paying taxes. It's like, all right, whatever, dude. Like they're literally taking pennies at a time from, I don't know. It's just, how did that video you made do of the wallet? I haven't ran it as a Facebook ad yet. I'm running some other ads right now. And then once these ones are done through the cycle, I'll do the video ad. For whatever reason, because I set the original ones as dynamic ads, it's actually experimenting, and I can't add another video. I can't add a different ad while that's happening, for whatever reason. I don't know. Facebook's weird. I'm actually a CPA, but I don't do tax law. Oh, okay. Ooh, how do you like being a CPA? Yeah, I don't know. Finances are a little weird. I did my taxes by hand once. Maybe that would be an interesting video to do, to like really explain how taxes work to people. Because when people get a refund, they think it's like, oh, free money. It's not free money. It's money that you overpaid over the course of a year that they took out of your paycheck that they're giving you back. And people don't realize, like, it's not something to be excited about. I guess it's exciting because it's like money that you didn't expect to have. But in reality, it's your money in the first place that they took out of your paycheck that you could have had. And so it's just like, nah, somehow, I don't know. It's crazy. Human psychology is really weird. Really, really weird. Honestly, if people looked at it rationally, you should be pissed that you got a tax refund. Because you will realize they took more money out of your paycheck than they should have. Essentially, you gave the government a zero interest loan on that money, and they're just giving it back to you. And so it's just like they stole money. I think it's appropriate because it's more money than they should have taken. They stole money out of your paycheck, gave it back to you, and you feel good about it. That's essentially how people feel tax time every year. And you as a CPA, you know this. And you're just like, what? Oh. What's good, Black V Sauce? Yeah, what's good, Oz? What's good? Got my wallet today. It's dope. Oh, for real? Hey, which one are you? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to associate the user account with the person who actually put the order in. But it would be interesting. When did you put the order? Uh, just so I know how long it took to get. I think it takes about a week to arrive, which sucks. I'm going to work on trying to speed that up. You should read the book Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely. Oh, that's the guy who got discredited, but I think it was a little misleading when he got disgraced, you know? But I'll definitely check that book out. Predictably Irrational. Dan Ariely. Yeah, it was about a week. Yeah, Florida. Yeah, that does help actually. Let me check this real quick. Uh, Florida, not that one. Indianapolis. Let's see. What? I don't know. I guess I'm at a point where there's plenty of orders here. So I like that. Yeah, about a week. Man, how did he get his wallet and I didn't? I don't know, man. It's just weird. Here's the thing, I am kind of worried that the black envelope that I put it in might have some issues in the sorting machine. So it ends up having to be human sorted, which would suck because that slows down the whole process. And so I still have a lot of testing to do. And then eventually I want to include these USPS barcodes on there so that I can actually track where it is and tell you exactly. I might have to build an app to like a dashboard so that I can send you a link and you'll be able to see where it is in real time, at least up to the point of it going to a postman ready for delivery. Yes, it was misleading when he got discredited. He has another book called Misbelief. Yeah, I've watched a few of his talks on YouTube. He's an interesting guy. He definitely has an interesting look with that like half beard kind of thing. It's kind of a cool look. It's kind of a cool look. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like I'm literally watching a video on who's this guy? Roland Fryer. I think his recent interview with Barry Weiss is doing the rounds on social media right now, and the guy got railroaded by Harvard for, I think, because of his work and some of the conclusions he came to based on his economic analysis of police shootings. People did not like the answer he gave, and he double checked his work too, and he didn't want to believe it. But you know, I can respect an actual scientist who, despite his feelings towards the thing he's studying, decides to follow the science, or at least the stats, and come to a conclusion that is counter to his personal beliefs and biases, and then be honest about it and willing to publish anyways, even though his colleagues told him not to. That was the situation he was in, and he paid a price for it, a social price for it. Sucks. It sucks. So that's an interesting. I posted the YouTube link on my IG story, so people can watch it. Me too. I care about truth, whether it goes against my beliefs. I'll look them up. Yeah, it's University of Austin is the channel. They recently did an interview 5 days ago, and people have clipped this up. And I saw it I think I saw it on TikTok, and then I was like, okay, let me look this up, and I actually found the full interview. I prefer to go to a primary source, and I just found the interview. Oh, dang, it was January 28th when I made the payment. Oh, okay. Oh, man, maybe it's taken 2 weeks? Eesh. Oh, okay. That would suck. Oh, man. All right. Man, I got some experimentation to do then, because it should not be taking 2 weeks to arrive. It might be the envelope. It might be the envelope. Because apparently, if you guys didn't know, I actually did a bunch of research on this, just USPS and their delivery system. For those of you who don't know, I sell these ripstop minimalist wallets, very, very thin and light. And my boy here, Teed, actually bought one if you want to put it in your front pocket, whatever. And what I've been doing is putting them in these envelopes. And the problem is they're black.
I've been putting white labels on there, but the USPS actually has sorting machines where they actually scan envelopes and they read the address and everything, and then it goes, and then all of it's sorted automatically. But the problem is the machine can only read white background with black text. Even though I use labels, there might be some issue going on where the machine's not reading them. And if that's the case, then they have to be human read. And if that's the case, then it slows down the whole thing. And if it slows it down, then I don't know. I eventually I want to get to the point where it's like Amazon, where you guys get it in like 2 days. But in order to give you guys these wallets at basically $20 if you buy it from the website, I have to essentially keep shipping costs as low as possible. And adding a tracking information to these packages increases the cost of shipping by three times more expensive, about 3 times more expensive to just add a tracking number. And so that's why I'm looking into like this whole USPS barcode thing that I could add that's essentially free, other than me having to build the whole thing. But sorry it took so long, man. But I appreciate the purchase, because I literally try to turn around as soon as I get an order. I try to get it out within 24 hours of the order. So it literally was like 2 weeks, which sucks. It sucks. I'll work on it, man. But thank you. Thank you for letting me know. All right. You guys have anything on your mind? I could keep going. I have a bunch of topics prepared. So I have some updates about this. I've talked about it. Also did an interview. The reason I normally do these lives on Sunday night, but the reason I'm doing it on Tuesday is because I missed it on Sunday. I was just too tired. I came back from traveling, and I couldn't do it yesterday because I was actually interviewed by Armed Atlas, who's the host of the Costly Conversations, where we talk about certain weapons, two-way stuff. We talk about social media, and it's a really cool, it was a really cool conversation. He's a really cool dude, and did that yesterday, and it's been published already. So, which is kind of cool that you could just have a live stream. And did you lace my wallet with free FET? Come on, man. I laced it with some green, if you know what I mean. Some green. And then also published a new podcast episode with Homeboy, who has a clothing brand, and we talk about brands and building brands and stuff. It was a really cool episode too. So a lot happened over the last like 5 days, and then finally back home, getting back to work. Hey, Dava Phoenix, nice to see you here again. How's it going? What's the positive quote of the day? I don't know if I have a positive quote of the day. Just follow God. I think is the only thing I can. If you can have that connection with God, that's it's definitely a big upgrade in life for sure. And your wallet's in the mail. It might take 2 weeks to arrive for whatever reason. I don't know why. I got to figure that out. What topics? All right. So building a brand, that's one thing. Stock market, we could talk about how rigged the stock market really is, just based on high frequency trading, which might be interesting to you, Khalil, as a CPA, just the finances of that. And also audience capture, how audiences can actually manipulate a content creator's personality to a point that they lose themselves. And it happens all the time. And I see it happening. There's a guy actually on TikTok, or at least he's on all the platforms, but it's called, I think it's Running Challenges or Running Challenge or something like that. He's a guy who's like, hey, I'm going to eat 4 crumble cookies and see how long it takes to burn these calories. And then he goes and runs it, essentially. And he's in this trap where it's just like, he knows the only way he gets views is by going more extreme than the last one. Because the original idea was like 1 crumble cookie. I'm going to eat a crumble cookie and see how long it takes to burn 1 crumble cookie's worth of calories. And so, like, if you guys know, a crumble cookie is like 800 calories. So then he ends up like running hella miles to to actually burn it. But then at this point, and then that video just did crazy numbers. And so now he's just been really leaning into that because of all the engagement he got on that original video. But he understands that in order to keep people interested, he has to go more extreme. And the audience, you guys, are leaving the likes, the hearts, not necessarily you guys, maybe you guys haven't seen those videos, but other people have. and they only give the engagement if he did what he did before, no one really cares. So he constantly has to like up the bar. And so now he's gotten to a point where he's eating like whole giant Reese's, and like the food at this point is just extreme. And he has to run like half a day essentially of running. If he's even running at all. That's the thing. I suspect he's not actually doing all the running because it's kind of ridiculous at this point. But audience capture, it's crazy, and he's falling into that trap, and it's tough to watch. It's tough to watch. Did you see 47 show brand? 47 shoe brand? I don't know what that is. 47 shoe brand? Oh yeah. That was cool. I'm not a fan of the all gold. I don't know why the gold was kind of weird, but I mean, I like that he did it because like Ramaswamy should have done something like that. He should have done it. He should have had his own shoe. Oh man. Of course, 45 always understands branding and marketing. He's always ahead of the curve. And now any politician who tries to release a shoe is just going to be copying him. So smart. I did buy one of those Yeezy shoes though, the pods. I bought one. It'll take about 4 weeks to arrive though. But when it comes, I'm definitely making a video about it. I think they would make really good house shoes. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I choose the stock market topic. Is there a book associated with the stock market that you're reading? Yeah, right now. Here we go. Flash Boys by Michael Lewis. I know it's reversed, but he's the same guy who wrote Moneyball. He's the same guy who wrote The Big Short, The Blind Side. Same author. Bro, this guy, I don't know what it is. I've read this book before, but I'm rereading it. And I think I read it like over a decade ago. But man, I forgot how good this guy's writing is. It's so easy to read. And this is complicated topics where he's talking about high frequency trading. He's talking about like front running and millisecond speeds of fiber optic cables and explaining the technology behind it, yet using characters to tell the story. Hella interesting. And essentially what's happening is high frequency traders are essentially taking pennies at a time for every stock trade that they're able to see and then move faster than. And so it's all just a game of speed, and how like literally this guy decided to build as straight as possible fiber optic line between a Chicago exchange and the New York exchange so that he can see futures prices before everybody else. Because there is discrepancy. It takes time for pricing information for stocks to update between exchanges. I actually made a video about this that I posted, which I don't know if I actually did that good of a job explaining. But essentially, the stock market as we think of it is not one thing. It's several exchanges that all work in concert to give us what we see as the stock market. But as you can imagine, I think there's 13 total. They are physically separate from each other, just connected through the internet. So essentially, when the pricing of a stock gets updated on one exchange as the latest price, it takes a bit of time for that pricing information to travel to all the other exchanges. And that little bit of time is where someone can arbitrage, make that money. And so if someone puts in a buy order for a large amount of shares, they could be fulfilled from multiple exchanges. But the pricing information could be different between those exchanges, at least for a short moment. And so if someone sees your order, your large order being fulfilled at one place, they can race to the other ones before you get there, before your purchase goes through on the other ones, buy that same stock and resell it to your order for a few pennies more, and essentially be able to make riskless trades. And so they never lose money, essentially. And they do, and it's just pennies. But think about doing this a billion times a day and the pennies stack up. It's just hella interesting. There's actually a good movie on this called The Hummingbird Project, where two teams, one that's building the fiber optic line between exchanges and one that's building microwave towers to do the same thing, communicate between two exchanges. And this battle between the two groups is essentially what the movie covers. I think it's pretty cool, but you might actually enjoy this as a CPA. They don't go heavy into the finance. They do go into the technology of it, though. But I think it would still be interesting for you if you like all that stuff. Let's see. Court says, I'm gonna sue you. 45 says, buy my shoe instead of hold my beer. You ever read Good to Great? Amazing book. Let me look that up. Good to Great. No, I haven't, but definitely check that out. Cap, we'll definitely check it out. Yeah, you're welcome. Do you really respect that industry model? AI just replacing it in a second. Goodbye human jobs. It's not AI. It's not AI. It's literally front running. It's having access to pricing information faster than everybody else. It's speed. It's not AI. It's just automation. It's computer trading. And people throw this AI word around. AI, I don't think can help it's the speed aspect that gives them the advantage. And this is an old book. I'm sure the strategies have changed since then. I'm sure AI probably plays a role in value investing probably. I wouldn't be surprised. But here's the thing. AI is only useful for past information. It can't predict the future. So, want to have long-term real estate talk? In a mood to spit facts. Who cares about trading? Trading is nonsense fundamentally now. Okay. I've seen terms on that prices can be 15 minutes behind the actual costs. Wow, 15 minutes is a long time. You're wrong. Right now, humans need to do it. Give it time. AI gonna run it. I don't know. I don't know. I literally had the discussion with a software engineering friend of mine on the podcast where we talked about how people are just slapping the term AI on everything when really it's just automation. Automation and AI are different things. AI is using transformer models, basically matrix math, to make decisions on patterns of language or I guess whatever application. That's not necessarily useful in a lot of the applications when people are like, oh, it's AI. It's no, that's just computer software. That's automation. It doesn't require matrix math to make decisions on that. It literally is just procedural for a lot of this stuff. So, yeah. If you can't see where AI is going, neither can traders. Yeah, well, it's the discrepancy of pricing information. If someone just paid, is about to make a large purchase of stock that is at several exchanges, then when that first order goes through at the nearest exchange, because it's the closest in terms of time and milliseconds, then you can race them to the other ones. It's sort of like if someone, how when the whole COVID thing was happening and masks were hard to find, and then people who were able to source masks from certain manufacturers were able to or even with toilet paper, they can charge so much more because people are already in demand for that. That's essentially what's happening, but very, very small scale, pennies at a time, but billions of times a day. And so it's they have access to future information that nobody else has. And so it's not even AI. It's literally it's just speed. It's just speed. And then tell me why Bitcoin. I don't know. Bitcoin's different. I don't think Bitcoin's. Yeah. ChatGPT is the basics of AI. Plug in enough data and remove restrictions, and it can give correlation and trends and whatnot. Yeah. I don't know. I think people overestimate the power of AI. Because, if you ask it to explain something that very, very well, it will get things wrong. It gets things wrong all the time. All the time. I use it every now and then to come up with ideas or whatever. But I think they talked about this on the All In podcast. I like to listen to it because, man, it should give you some hope about possible success in this world if some of those guys are really stupid. But one of them made a really good point about the ability to edit. It can get you 80, 90, maybe even 95% of the way there. But that last 5% makes all the difference about whether or not what you're creating actually works. And I'm speaking even in the content game, it's those little tiny changes, those tiny editorial decisions that make all the difference between a video that gets 1,000 views versus 1,000,000 views. It's crazy. And so those details matter. And I don't think AI is ready just yet. I recently just used Opus clips to cut up a podcast. What it's doing that I'm not able to do which is very useful, is actually take sections of video that are not adjacent to each other and then clip them together, which when I edit them, I never did because I just went in sequence. And so if it wasn't already there, then I never included it. But literally it'll take a section of this part of the video and then another part of the video, combine them into one clip and all that stuff. And so it's rearranging literally the podcast. So it's not going to even follow the flow of the episode. And I'm not sure how I feel about it yet because it's kind of misleading because that's not exactly the context of that. Because it's literally creating a sequence of words that had never been said on the podcast ever. And so it's just like, is it misleading? I haven't decided yet. What do you guys think? But it's interesting. Will it perform better? I don't know. I'll test it out. But we'll see. Do you gel Q? I don't know what gel Q is. This seems not viable. No. I love your synthetic wig. Okay. AI now has restrictions. It's new, barely a year old. Give it 10 years, even 5, and it's going to be way better. I think there's a point of diminishing returns. And I think that's what people don't quite understand. It's like, you don't know what the future is going to look like. It's not like a linear thing. It's not. Like, innovation happens in like these extreme ways and then a whole lot of nothing and then another extreme. So I don't know what it's going to look like. I think, with all due respect, you are underestimating it. Being wrong is feedback for AI. Yeah, I don't know. When you understand the math behind all this, it's just like there's no understanding going on here at all. 95% in 1 year, 100% in 10 years problems. Humans go back to 5 fingers instead of 7 on one hand. I don't know. Like, you could have easily applied this. Maybe the physical world is different because, like, look at aircraft technology. Rapid advances in the last century, from the Wright brothers discovering flight to finally going to space, right? But look at airplane technology, hasn't improved. It reached a stalling point when you start approaching the speed of sound, like, which is essentially pretty close to where commercial air flight is. Things get so much harder. So it's like it would require like a huge step up innovation that I don't think has been discovered yet. They tried with like what was that supersonic jet, but it had a ton of problems. There's a company out here, Boom, that's actually trying to bring that back, which I think is really cool. But yeah, they're a startup for a reason because it's a long shot. But I like that they're trying. Yo, Diamond 1 and Siege, bro. Cool. What was that app name for video editing? Opus. 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 App. Let's see. Opus.so. No. That's not. Opus Clips. Maybe it's that. Opus Clip. So it's opus.pro is their URL. OPUS. Diminishing returns is a real thing, but I don't think we anywhere near that yet. I don't know. AI will reach the point, but we nowhere near that yet. Concord and XA something plane. Yeah, the Concord. The Concord? Plane? Concorde. It's the Concorde. Yeah. But cool company, Boom. Supersonic is interesting company that's trying to bring that back. Kind of looks like the Concorde, but it doesn't have that interesting nose thing that the Concorde had. And we'll see if they can actually build it and make it real. Here's the thing. I have an aerospace degree, right? Like, I remember one of my college professors actually worked at Boeing, like, in real time. He was working at Boeing and then taught us at night. And there's this idea of a step up in commercial air travel may not necessarily be speed, but in capacity and comfort and fuel efficiency. There's this idea called a blended wing body. Instead of an airplane that's tubular with wings that come out, what if the whole airplane was a wing and it blended into the wings, sort of like a Delta airplane? Look it up, blended wing body. And this is an idea that Boeing has experimented with. And it looks pretty cool. The problem with this design is like if it's mostly a wing, there's going to be far few. You can fit a lot more people on a plane. It'll be far more efficient because the entire plane is a lifting surface, but then far fewer windows, at least in proportion to the number of passengers. But I mean, considering how LCD displays, OLED, and all that stuff make things so real, maybe you can make virtual screens or virtual windows. So it feels like it's a real window, but it's actually just a screen. And you'd just be basically in this bus. But it looks pretty cool. It's a cool design. That's definitely what the future of air travel could look like. Obviously, there would have to be a lot of infrastructure changes at airports to accommodate a plane that looks like this, because it's a weird shape. It's a cool shape, but and it could increase the fuel efficiency and decrease the cost of air travel. So that'd be really cool. AI is older than what the population knows, but I agree it's going to plateau at some point. Yeah. Like F-117 Nighthawk? No. If I remember, the F-117 is like a prismatic. No. Yeah, the same shape, but the blended wing is curved surfaces. So think about the F-117, except if it's all curved and it's much larger. But essentially, yeah, a Delta. It actually looks pretty cool, but I don't know what it would take to get to that point. And I'm sure there's some other limitations. Obviously, the flight dynamics are different for a Delta body, a Delta plane. But man, I mean, that's a great way to like increase the capacity. Oh, and emergencies. So that's another thing. Like, how do you get people out of the plane quickly if something goes wrong with this type of plane? When it's just a tube and there are emergency doors, it's more standard and everyone knows how to deal with those things. And radical changes in aircraft technology are not often welcomed because they have such a high success rate that messing with that in any way is probably seen as very unfavorable. But it's a cool idea. And it was interesting. My final project in college was actually designing a commercial aircraft. It's a domestic flight aircraft, carried 200 to 300 passengers. I think it was like 280 passengers. It had to make a flight of a certain length. It had to be able to take off and land within a certain distance. We had different engine options. We actually had to figure out what the layout of the cabin would look like. We had to figure out the wingspan, the dimensions of the hull, all this. It got super in detail. I actually wrote some MATLAB code to run through the different permutations of the different things we can vary on the aircraft to finally find the optimized aircraft, and then had to like design the whole thing and then do all the calculations in math. It was actually a really cool project to work on. I got a perfect score on the written calculation part, and then I got sick for the actual design part, where I actually had to build the model and all that. And so I lost some time and I ended up getting a B on the project or whatever, but whatever. Hey, Kirk, how's it going? Because you have to get fuel and the aileron, spoilers, and rudders as well, too. Yeah. There's all these new things that come with a design like this that I can understand why people would be hesitant to even try it out. It doesn't make dollars and cents, so they say it doesn't make sense. Sounds fun. I don't know because here's the thing. Like, this was before Dreamliner, right? And Dreamliner uses a lot of carbon fiber technology in that aircraft design, which obviously it's hard to build a Delta plane if you're making it out of aluminum. Just because it's a complex shape and getting the precise curvatures you need. It's a lot simpler to build a tube out of aluminum than it is to build a blended wing body. But carbon fiber is a lot easier to make those complex shapes with. Now, the jigs and the molds you might need would be really complicated, and you'd have to fuse it all together somehow because there's a limitation on the size and the what do you call it? The kilns, basically, that you put these things in. But I mean, I also have experience doing that. I used to build airplanes in college, at least RC airplanes, and we'd use fiberglass and carbon fiber all the time. We would use, those foam boards that you can get from Home Depot, the pink foam that come as these rectangular blocks. Those make really good airfoils. And so we would use a hot wire to actually cut out. We would go to an airfoil database online and find one that we think had the characteristics we need for a certain type of airplane or flight pattern. And so we would cut those templates out, and then we would build these like plywood airfoils, and then put it on either side of the foam. And then we had this hot wire that we would literally just run through the foam using those airfoil cutouts as guides, and literally get this like whole giant wing. And then what we did was figure out where the spar was going to be and reinforce that with like carbon fiber tow, basically just strands of carbon fiber. And we obviously wet it with epoxy and put it on. And then finally we would coat the whole thing in fiberglass and epoxy. And then we really built our own wings, and it was really cool. Gina King, sounds fun. What can I Google to find this crazy plane you looked at? Blended wing body, or BWB airplane. BWB. Be careful, don't. Yeah, BWB, not BBW. BWB airplane, and you'll be able to see it. You look familiar. What state? Texas. I'm in Texas. What's up, homie? What's up, Dapper Clapper? Jumping off the porch like mom's not home. Good for you, bro. Look up Rajugitav. Oh, that's interesting. That kind of looks like the blended wing aircraft when I Googled that, please. Blend that phrase, blended wing aircraft. Blended wing body is the term. I'm in Michigan, but I know you. Do you really know me? I don't think so, Gina, but okay. Everybody knows me. I'm online, so feel free to feel free to tell people that you know me. I'm cool with that. But we're talking about aircraft right now and artificial intelligence. BBC is British broadcasting channel, apparently is popular in Britain. Yeah. Do you know the British pay a tax for their TV because of the BBC? They pay a TV tax. Can I name drop you to look cool? No. Only Argentinians can do that. And you are Guatemalan. I name drop you all the time though, so I can make Hispanic jokes. And they go to Poundland to get squirty cream. Yeah. Yo, have you guys heard about this whole like zombie knife thing that's happening in the UK now? Essentially, you know how in America we have all this like Second Amendment conversations about like, Second Amendment, but we got to outlaw these things, and the 2A people are like, no, it's shall not be infringed, all that stuff. Yeah, in the UK they have basically the same sort of discussion, except with these things called zombie knives. It's just like, look at how threatening it looks. How could no one has a reason for owning these things? Same talking points, except about zombie knives. Oh, you don't know what a zombie knife is? Okay, it's one of those. Imagine the type of knife you would use if there was ever a zombie apocalypse, right? It would probably have a sharp edge, a serrated edge. It might have like a bend into it. It might have like some paracord wrapped handle. It might even have some markings on it. That's yeah, a zombie knife. That's what they're dealing with right now. DJ Play Nice dropping in to say hey and bump the algorithm. Appreciate it, DJ. Appreciate it. Let's see. What are you doing here on a Tuesday? I wasn't here on Sunday, so I'm making up for it. Poundland is dollar store. Squirty cream is whipped cream. For real? Yo, the British is so weird, man. I've been to London once, and it's just funny because like they kind of are like us, except they sound funny. If we outlaw projectile launchers, how can we stop bad people who literally any knife is good enough for me for zombies, but wouldn't be first choice of weapon? I
outlaw projectile launchers. Do they? I don't know. I feel like I can build a projectile launcher if I wanted to. You can go to yeah, it's just built a, yeah, I don't know if they're outlawed. Are rocket launchers outlawed? I don't even know. Are rocket launchers legal? Ooh, that's a good question. Rocket launchers, all right, I can't verify this. This is 12 News, but I'm just reading what the first thing Google says. So take it with a grain of salt. But it says rocket launchers are actually legal in the United States and regulated under the National Firearms Act. NFA was originally passed in 1934, according to the Bureau of ATF. Law's underlying purpose was to curtail, if not prohibit, transactions in NFA firearms. Let's see. Are RPGs legal in the U.S.? Let's see. Yes, you can buy them. So I guess they're fine. Can you legally own a bazooka? Civilians can legally acquire destructive devices, including bazookas, but it involves compliance with National Firearms Act regulations. Hey, I didn't know that, but thanks for letting us know, bro. Projectile launcher is AKA pew pew. TikTok code projectile launcher. Okay. About to get me a rocket launcher? Yeah, I know, dude. I kind of want one now. Can't have an AR-15, but rocket launcher okay, and RPG. You can have an AR-15. What's stopping you from getting an AR-15? Obviously, you got to go through a background check. Like all purchases have to go through a background check, unless it's like I think there's a loop. They say gun show loophole, but I mean, you have to register for a gun show, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if it's that much of a loophole, but I mean, if you're going to buy it at any store, you end up having to go through a background check anyways. So I don't know why people think like you could just get these things without showing your ID at all. Like, I knew I was here again for a reason, about to make a purchase. Bro, yo, I would just want one that's been deployed just so I could put it on my wall, bro. That would be so cool to just have. You know, it'd be interesting, like if you got real ones and you just rent, you know how people rent out space on private jets, but they're not really jets, they're just sets that have been put together. What if you had all this like cool equipment that has been used so it's not dangerous, but you could take pictures with it? Do you know how cool it would be to hold one of those right here? Just like, that'd be so cool. A blank fires projectile really fast. Yeah, basically those Nerf things are just glorified rock throwers. 46 wants to stop them. 46, not 45. Yeah. Facts. I want to hang an RPG on the wall. For the wall, of course. Yeah. Do you know how cool that would be? Oh, man. Guys really like stuff like that, for sure. Like someone mentioned it on one of my videos where I talk about what to get dudes for Valentine's Day. And the guy made a really astute comment. He was like, just buy him a weapon. A sword, a knife, a dagger will do. Just a weapon is cool. And I think any guy would appreciate that. I don't think women understand it, but there's just something cool about it. Like even this thing, I can't show much of it because YouTube always flags these things, but maybe I can show the edge of it. The edge of it. I can't show it to you guys. Maybe I can show it to you guys on TikTok. But this is a wooden puzzle. It's a wooden puzzle. That's all I can show. Otherwise, YouTube gets a little weird. Even though it's a toy, they get a little weird. So, this is America. I promise I won't go fire it at a dirt hill. It's going on the wall. Get me a nice knife. Yeah. Here's a cool thing. Like I literally yesterday I was interviewed by Armed Atlas on his podcast, Costly Conversations. And we talk about this, like issues like this in America, some of the things that, because he's into that stuff and that's sort of the center of his podcast, those kind of things, if you know what I mean. And we talk about it in the context of like social media and how you kind of have to be careful because these platforms are not,
very supportive of that type of content. And then I talk about some of the issues dealing with content on my side. The episodes on YouTube, just go to Costly Conversations on YouTube, and the latest episodes with me. And he's a cool guy. He DM'd me, and yeah, and then we set it up and we had a really cool conversation. So it's really cool. Definitely check out that episode. It'd be cool to like run up the views on that one and show the legitimacy of the conversation that we had. And also maybe the Table Moments audience is really supportive. So that would be really cool if you could pull that off. What's up, JD? Play nice? Yep. The interview was a good listen. Glad you could appear on his program. Yeah, I appreciate he invited me, so I really appreciate it. Eventually, I'm going to have to schedule a time where I can record something too with him. And I think it'd be cool to talk about other things, like he's a father. He's also in this space, and he does social media. So I think it'd be interesting to hear those perspectives and how he's able to balance all of it. And I think it'd be useful for like those of us who don't have kids yet to really to see how he handles all this stuff. And also like considering the stuff that he tends to talk about, especially like, you know, the things, and how he feels about his kids being involved in it, or if he does at all or whatever. But where'd you get your glasses? I got you, bro. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now. Zenny Optical. Let's see. I'm gonna put it in the chat. I got it from Zenny Optical. I have an affiliate code, but I don't care to give you the link right now. I'll just give you the exact frames I got. Let's see. Let's filter. Because people have asked me that before, which is crazy because it's like one of their more affordable options. It literally is like one of their. Let's do low to high. I got you, bro. Give me a second. I think this is the one. Yep, this is the one. It comes in different colors too. I just went with the black. I'm pretty sure this is the one. It seems a little less expensive than what I bought it for, but they have different variations, but I'll put in the chat the one I actually bought. Here you go, Square Mo, in the chat. These are the ones. Although those ones are not going to have the silver things that I put in the corners. These are magnets that I put on using clear coat nail polish. And the reason why, because I think this is pretty cool. Let me share it with you guys. I keep it on my fridge. So I put magnets on the tips using clear coat nail polish. And then I also put it on these. You can have these like shades add-ons to the pairs of glasses that basically clip on a bridge. But I didn't like that. And so I put corresponding magnets on these. And so I could do stuff like that. So it's really cool. So yeah, let me catch up with comments here though. This is America. Piff, get me a nice knife. Puzzle, gotcha. Yeah, your puzzle looked really cool. I saw your video with your puzzle. I'll give you mad props for that. How do you stream TikTok and YouTube at the same time? TikTok is on my phone, and then YouTube and Twitch are using my camera through StreamYard. I'm sure there's a better setup, but this is what I've been using so far. Kids are great, but make sure you enjoy life before you have one. Fair enough. Like traveling, probably. What a cheat code for sure. Here's the funny thing. I actually put together a video on how I made these. If I could productize this, I would, so it can make it easier for you guys. But yeah, I haven't figured that out. So I will also put a link to the video of me making these, or basically, I guess, inventing these. I could probably, and I think it'd be cool if like the YouTube channel was not only just podcast conversations, but also cool projects too. And so I've been experimenting with that. Here's a link to the YouTube video where I actually make these and discover how to make these in real time. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And then you could do cool, like one eye, like a pirate, guys, like a pirate. It's so cool. Or if you have a family member who has like an eye patch or whatever, instead you can get them glasses and then have it like this. It's kind of a flex, not gonna lie. It's kind of cool. So yeah. By the way, the add-ons for the sunglass add-ons are like an extra $5 on the frames. So, and a lot of their frames already. Zenny Optical is great, guys. Like as long as you know your prescription. So know what your prescription is. Get your eyes checked first. StreamYard, yeah, StreamYard. They're a streaming service. Patent that if you can. I don't know if there's much to patent. Like it's just putting maybe, but like it'd be cool to partner with Zenny to, or if I here's the thing. What's his name? Kappa. I actually shared this idea with Kappa, and he mentioned like I should sell these, but I don't know how to sell these. Like, how do I sell? I could sell magnets individually. I could sell like a little vial of clear coat nail polish, which is basically resin, by the way. If any of you guys are hobbyists or tinkers or whatever, clear coat nail polish works as a really great resin. And this has been on there for literally probably like 6 months now and still works. But it's really finicky and it's detailed, and getting it all aligned, I'd have to make some jig depending on the model of glasses you're wearing and all that. It's just like, it's too complicated of a product to build, I think. So those are fire. They are fire. I agree. They are very fire. And the cool thing is I keep these on my fridge. So eventually I want to include, I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but it would be cool to include magnets in these wallets too, so that when it closes, it sticks together. And then even better, if the magnets are strong enough, you can actually stick it on your refrigerator. I think that'd be really cool. And so right before you leave, you just go to your kitchen, grab your shades, grab your wallet, and then head out. And it would be cool if maybe I make a key add-on. So then everything you just keep on your refrigerator. Because us guys, we don't really put much on our fridge other than our girls putting pictures of us on our fridge, you know? So that's how it goes. But yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. And it snaps in. Dude, the video of me actually putting these together is pretty cool. Sell them glasses, make money with them. How do I sell glasses? These are prescription, bro. They're prescription. Maybe okay, here's what I could do. I could offer these shades as an API. I wonder if Zenny has an API where I can like plug into their sales system. And then when people submit their order, it actually gets shipped to me first. And then I could actually add these on there and then I ship it to the customer. That might be interesting. Maybe I could do something like that. But I would have to do the work though. That's the thing. And which is fine. It's just, I have to get the glasses first to be able to put the magnets. And these are prescription lenses. They're prescription. So it depends on what their prescription is. And then if they get it wrong, then I'm the one to, you see the problem of, I don't know. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. They have non-prescription too, straight glasses or whatever. I know, but do people wear those though? I don't know. I mean, like, these are great. Here's the thing. Like, these are great because transitions, they also have those, but I like that it's binary for me. Like, when it is really sunny outside, I'm going to go for a walk and put these on. And then at night, I don't know. I guess, I don't know how big the market is for non-prescription glasses that also turn into shades, I don't know. And the cool thing I really like about this is not only that they stick on and magnets are cool, but I align them up perfectly so that they stack on each other. And so now I could keep this in my pocket. That's what I really like about these. But yeah, I might just keep them on for the rest of the stream because I think I look cooler with them. StreamYard is like OBS and Streamlabs. It's like a web version of OBS, kind of. Sell the whole glasses, you out together and put together. Maybe. As sunglasses, same style, but non-prescription. Interesting. So like non-prescription version. Interesting. I didn't even think. Is there a market for that? Huh. Sunglasses, but if you want to continue wearing them to look smart, maybe. Thank you for that idea, man. Those are style shades they would sell. Maybe. I would definitely have to clean up how I put the resin on there. And then I'd have to like deal with this issue of like the holes where the screws originally were on there. Because you can see this is for the YouTube and Twitch stream. It's not focusing, but whatever. But yeah. The fact that they are magnets that they would sell. Interesting. Yeah, because the frames themselves, I wonder how much, because if I do select lenses, if I, um, let's see, single vision. Okay. Let's go. Yeah, I wonder. Enter your prescription manually. One number. It doesn't matter. Any of these numbers don't matter. And then, yeah. But I don't know if it'll let you order these without prescription. It won't even let you submit it. That's crazy. I don't know. There's definitely a niche for these lenses for sure. Put a nice mafia type hat on and those shades with the suit and you look good. Yeah, I would. I know that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. There was no heroes, so we looked up to the villains. Yeah. Yeah. Not gonna lie, I had a phase where I was really messing with the Joker vibe, you know? Like all you care about is money. The world deserves a better class of creator. And I'm gonna give it to them. Like, I was really messing with that energy before I found God. For sure. I don't blame you. I don't blame you, man. My man's about to take over the market live. I don't know. I like sharing these ideas because, like, I'm only one man. I can't do them all. So, guys, if you're motivated enough, feel free to take any of these ideas. Like, and then I could just throw me a consulting fee or something. I'd more than appreciate it, man. You don't even have to give me anything, but like, yeah, feel free. Here's my problem. I have way too many ideas to work on. Like, have I ever told you guys about the Cookie City idea, the cookie delivery idea? Do you guys want to know about it? I'll share it with you guys. It would be kind of hard to get off the ground, but if you could pull it off, it's a viable business. It's just, I'm an ideas guy, okay? Like, and as far as execution, I can only work on a certain amount of things. So I don't have the bandwidth for it all. So feel free to take it, guys. Take it. And then if you want to credit the table moments, I'd really appreciate it. I feel like that too many ideas. Yeah. Here's the thing. Ideas, if you have a creative mind, like there's so many ideas, but then when you're slapped with the reality of actually pulling these things off, you realize how much work it is and how much you don't know. Because the idea is great. And I feel like all my ideas are really, really good. Or at least crazy enough to even try. But pulling them off is going to be harder than you would ever expect because it might be too crazy an idea. This is where like Virgil Abloh's 3% rule comes in, where if your idea is too different from what people are familiar with, man, you're gonna have to teach people that your idea is the right idea, or at least it's worth people supporting. Even this idea of table moments, like we got 10 people on TikTok, 4 people on YouTube and Twitch. Like people, you guys know how good this stream is. And it's largely because you guys are interacting and I'm reading the comments and it's a lot of back and forth. And we can be here literally, we're approaching 2 hours of this stuff. And that's a sign that you could be doing anything else, but you're here with us interacting and having a good time. But try to convince other people that a live stream about nothing, essentially, where the conversation can go anywhere, could be really interesting to watch. You know, it's like it's one of those experience goods. You have to try it and be a part of it to even know how good it is, kind of situation. So it sucks, man. Precisely. yeah. There we go. Yeah. Let me see here. I got a ton of ideas, but I don't know who to go to for that. Yeah, I've realized man, I've even tried to work with people. Unfortunately, the relationships didn't work out, which sucks because it's like, I got the ideas. I don't mind doing all the hustle work, all the grind work. I don't mind that at all. In fact, I get some enjoyment out of it, but there are certain technical things that if I end up having to learn everything I need to learn to be able to pull it off, then it will take much longer and it will consume me. And for me, actually pulling the thing off is the only thing, or actually getting the prototype or the idea out is the thing that's important to me. So like, even with these wallets, getting it to work one time so that I can actually use it was the goal. It wasn't actually to commercialize it, which I've started doing because I want to make this podcast sustainable. And I think doing this, selling these directly to you guys could be a way to make that happen and stay independent at the same time. So I'm not hawking like things I don't actually use. I actually use this because I made it for myself. Even these glasses, I made this for myself because I thought it was a cool idea. I came up with this idea like 5-6 years ago, but it wasn't until now where I was like, ooh, I could turn it into content. And that motivated me to actually make the thing. And so now I've made one of them and I'm cool. Now you guys are telling me, oh, you can sell it. But to me, it's just like, why? Like, I don't care about the money, man. So if you guys want to take the idea, take it, please. Like, or if you want to work together, or you're willing to do a lot of like the nitty gritty details of like the marketing and finding the audience and all that stuff, like, and you think you could turn it into a hustle for yourself, please get rich off of this, guys. If you can do it, like, do it. Like, and I'll support you. I'll even, like, you need a platform, come on, let's talk about it. We can partner on this. I just don't have the capacity to do all this at the same time, which sucks. Whatever. And I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way too. Cookie delivery, my wife and daughter would love that. Yeah, so I'll talk about the cookie delivery idea. All right, here's the thing. I'll talk about this idea that I came up with. I actually even bought the domain and everything, and I figured out the branding and everything. And I even tried to push this project forward, but there were some things that kept it from moving forward. And honestly, I didn't have clout back then, and I didn't understand Facebook ads like I do now. And so there's just a lot of pieces I did not have when I originally came up with the idea, but I'll share it. Let me just catch up with comments real quick. Random question. What's your thoughts on pirates flying to Pluto to fight Martians? I have no opinions on that, man. Why? Don't care about the money. I'll take the money if you don't want it. I ain't got time to him. I don't know. Money isn't really a motivator. It's not a motivator for me. It just never has been. To me, it's just paper. Yeah, I understand you need it to live, but I mean, I have money, enough money to keep a roof over my head, to put food on the table. Like, for me at this point, it's like I actually want to work on interesting things that I find fulfilling, and then make it sustainable so that I can continue to do that, or even just invent stuff or create stuff like this, and not just physical stuff like this, but even technological stuff too. So like, Kirko, you're doing the same thing too, where you want to build stuff, and like, this money's not the motivator for me. So it would be really cool if I found like a hustler type who could see the potential of these ideas and knew how to like take it forward, and I could just work on the engineering. Maybe one day one of you guys might be that person, which would be cool to like partner with and stuff. And here's the thing: the way I see this is like any business ventures or that come out of this, it'd be cool to give you guys a piece of it too. I think it'd be cool. I came up with this idea on one of these like after moments. It's sort of like the podcast version that I had with my brother. And I talked about it. I was like, you know how Mr. Beast gives away like money and PS5s and all these consumer electronics? I was thinking like, what if I could give away pieces of a business? How cool would that be? And you guys are a part of this. And so I could just, it's like, all right, yeah. If you can contribute something to the, like, I'd probably start these businesses as S corps, because you can split it up to 100, the business into 100 shares. And so it'd be cool, like maybe 51 shares I keep, and then the rest 49 I give to you guys just randomly, or since you guys were here early, you guys get a piece of a business. And then the remaining 51 shares I can allot to people who can contribute significantly to the business. And then I would keep like a remaining 5 or 10 shares for myself or something, to sustain the podcast and everything. And so like we build these businesses and then give half of it away essentially. And then the remaining stuff give to key people who feel passionate enough about it to like move the business forward, and then essentially turn everyone into business owners. And then here's the thing, like conservatives always talk about like pushing the culture, but all they do is just make stupid content that appeals to other conservatives. Instead, it's like, look, you talk about economic prosperity, you talk about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, you guys talk about businesses and making something of yourself, and you talk about lowering taxes and all that. How are you going to do it if you don't put people in positions to actually experience that? And so it's like, if you effectively turned everyone a business owner by giving pieces of businesses away, then people get to feel what taxes feel like on a business level. People get to feel what it's like to build something from the ground up. People feel what regulation feels like, because all these hoops you have to jump through to start and run this business, because now you guys actually have skin in the game that you've been given. I think that's, and I don't know, the culture means more to me than just money. So that's what I'm thinking. So that's why it's just like, I don't know. I've been on this, I don't know, whatever. Maybe I'm just ranting right now to make them. I just saw your super speed vid, W take. It makes you think about how light the suit needs to be too. Yeah, or even his limbs, right? His limbs are a little, because essentially if you have super speed, but you don't have super strength, essentially just using your super speed could rip your body apart, because your body can't handle the forces that your body is capable of putting on it. And so I think it would be an interesting plot line of The Boys if someone had super speed but did not have super strength. And so literally anytime they accidentally, they would probably be from, those people who don't feel pain, who have to constantly check their bodies to see if there's any open sores or cuts or anything, because they don't know that if they got hurt, to make sure that they treat whatever happened to them. Essentially, like someone with super speed who doesn't have super strength has to be careful not to use their super speed. And the issues that might come with, like, anytime they get scared, they accidentally move fast and they hurt themselves in the process because their body's not fit, doesn't have the strength or the chemical bonds to hold it all together. And I think that would be a cool storyline on The Boys if there was someone like that. So it'd be interesting. You need to keep majority, so you keep voting rights, 51% for you. Yeah, that's why I was going to do 51% for me and whoever. It would be allotted to the people who are, I don't know if I need to control it. If I'm not running it, if I'm just the ideas guy, then, or I would be the ideas guy and the promotion guy. So this is where Table Moments comes in. It's like, you guys are an audience. I can expose the idea to a bunch of people. And I think that would be, obviously I would work in the business too. That would be cool, but maybe it's like a holding company. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just big ideas. I haven't even gotten close to pulling any of this stuff off. I just come up with all these prototypes and whatever. But here's the cookie idea. Okay? I've done DoorDash. My best performing video on TikTok, honestly, across social media, is my video about DoorDash. I was explaining my experience as a DoorDash driver and how if you don't pick up your food on time, the service, DoorDash, will actually tell you, okay, they're not answering their phone. Go, you can start picking up other orders. The food that they ordered that you were going to deliver is now yours. Okay, I got to experience this. And doing DoorDash, I realized like there is a potential to make a pretty decent living doing DoorDash and food delivery if everyone involved in this process of making the food, picking up the food, so the restaurant and the customer, and then you as the driver were all on time. If everyone was on time in this entire process, the driver could actually make a really good living. We're talking about like $30 an hour. It's pretty decent. But the problem is, in practice, restaurants will say food is ready to pick up when it's not ready to pick up. Customers won't be ready to actually take the order from you as the driver. And so like any minute, anytime if it takes longer than it should, you're costing the driver money. Because I realized at best, on average, you can fulfill about 3 orders an hour. And the average order, a DoorDash driver can make between $8 and $12. Let's average it to 10. No. Actually, you can make up to about $8. So $8 times 3, $24 an hour. That doesn't include the depreciation on the vehicle and the other fuel costs and all that stuff. But if everyone was on time, then you could fulfill 4 orders in an hour, in which case that jumps it up to $32 an hour. But that's not possible because the restaurants are always late and customers are always late. So I was thinking, okay, so the problem is there's too many players involved in this thing. What if you can eliminate one of the players or at least consolidate it? What if instead you narrow down the food space into baked goods, specifically chocolate chip cookies, because I'm actually pretty good at making chocolate chip cookies. Weirdly enough, I know. And I was like, okay. And the startup cost for this would be really low because you can bake things at home and sell them to people commercially. Legally, you can do that. This is the cottage food industry. Essentially, small businesses can make food at home and sell it to people, and plenty of states have laws regarding this that allow people to do this. So you don't have to rent out a commercial kitchen. And so I could test this whole idea out. So the idea was I was going to start a virtual bakery where all we do is sell chocolate chip cookies. Maybe every day of the week could be a different form of the chocolate chip cookie. So the base is the same, but maybe the topping or the chips are replaced with some other thing. But essentially, it's just a chocolate chip cookie company, similar to like Crumble or whatever, except it's just chocolate chip cookies. And the cool thing about this idea would be you can bake the cookies ahead of time. And anyone who's baked cookies before knows chocolate chip cookies taste best 24 hours after you bake them. 24 hours after you bake them. I know people have this dumb idea that freshly baked cookies are good. They're not. They're never as good as if you wait 24 hours after. And so this is something you can make in advance. And the cool thing is you can make it at home, so startup costs would be really low. And the cool thing is they're dense food that can handle vibration and physical movement, as opposed to like some hot food like a tikka masala or something, or some like spaghetti dish or Italian dish or whatever. And so you can put it in a vehicle. The cool thing also about cookies is that Crumble has taught people that paying $4 a cookie is something people can do. And so now the price point, the profit margins on these are actually insane. Baked goods actually have a much higher profit margin than hot food. So there's a lot of advantages that come with just chocolate chip cookies, and chocolate chip cookies are pretty easy to make too. So the idea was, okay, what if we can actually pay drivers really good salaries if we start this virtual bakery? It's something you can order on DoorDash, Grubhub, any food app only. There is no in-store that you can pick up from. And it's people delivering it to customers who've ordered cookies, preferably late at night, possibly in a college town, so it makes it a lot easier. And then drivers can actually have all the orders in their car as orders are received. Because they're cookies, you can make them ahead of time. You can give a whole batch of cookie orders to a driver in their car at one time. And so instead of going to a restaurant, picking up cookies, then dropping off to a customer, then going to another restaurant, picking up cookies, dropping off to another customer, instead, as orders come in, literally the driver just goes from customer to customer, fulfilling those orders. And then if you package the cookies in packs of 4 and 6, you can make basically any multiple between 4 and 12 using 6 and 4 packs, because they're factors of 12. And so essentially you can I don't know. There's a lot of efficiencies that come with it. And then selling $4 a cookie. And then I was thinking, like in Texas, you could partner with like a grocery store who, when they're closed, they still have the bakery, but no one's actually using the equipment. And so perhaps you can set up some arrangement with them so that you can source your ingredients from their supplier and get some wholesale costs. Or you can even buy their cookies straight up at sticker price, which is essentially about just under $1 per cookie for these large cookies that you can get from grocery stores, and sell them for $3 to $4 a piece as part of this delivery service, with delivery fee included. So it would just be $4 a cookie flat. And so if you buy a 4-pack, it would be $16 delivered to your door, no extra additional fees. And then you could give a large portion of that to the driver and actually pay them $30 to $40 an hour. That'd be crazy. And then I thought it would be cool to call this virtual bakery Cookie City. Cookie City with a K, Kookie, city. And I actually have the domains cookiecity.com and cookie.city. I have both. And then I literally came up with this logo like a year ago, where it's like it's a GPS, the pin on the GPS, except it has like a few bytes cut out of it, like as if it's a cookie. I think it's pretty cool. Ayman has made some tracks. You two may have a good conversation if you want to be on his pod, DJ Play Nice. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, man. DJ Play Nice, if you want to come on. There's no way to DM me on YouTube, unfortunately, but DM me on Instagram. It'd be dope. But I'm a baby Melomaniac. I also have a few friends in the industry. Yeah, they know a few people. All right, let me catch up with comments. I don't know. What do you guys think? Um, let's see. Check this out. Would you want to be invisible, but everyone can hear you, or fly must fly upside down? I'm not sure what you mean. I don't know if I care to be invisible. So yeah, and if everyone was honest and had integrity, I think maybe your comments are getting flagged, Jose. Customers don't tip, but want you to run backflips and are all extra picky. Yeah, for sure. That's true. Did you see DoorDash guarantees minimum wage, but you got to accept pretty much every order? Yeah, I don't know if that's a good deal. Minimum wage, I don't. No, here's the thing. Even with these wallets, if I can get demand high enough that I can get a lot of orders per day, and I get to a point where I can actually hire somebody to make these, I want to pay them at least $30 an hour. And because that was my starting salary as an engineer, and I think that's a fair salary, especially considering this is like detailed oriented. I want to pay at least $30 an hour, and so I've priced that into the whole design of the manufacturing process, but also the product itself. I don't know. Like I think a lot of businesses rely on cheap labor. I'm not a fan of it because it's just like it's almost like they're they're compensating for a bad business model if you can't pay people enough. Uh, a lot of people do this with like overseas employees, like from the Philippines or whatever. It's just like if you got to hire someone at $5 an hour to make your business work, yeah, maybe you have a bad business model. Because like I don't think because you wouldn't pay yourself that. If you wouldn't pay yourself that, why do you think it's appropriate to pay someone else that? You know, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. But you know, people do what they do. I would definitely think 3 is pushing it just because of traffic. Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing: they're giant cookies. They're giant cookies. So maybe this could be like a bulk order or something. But I think in order for it to make, especially the commerce, the problems with e-commerce and the fixed costs, anything less than $15 is hard to sell unless you got stupid volume. Although you don't have to worry about, well, I guess the driver is the shipping cost. But the cool thing is because they would be delivering from customer to customer instead of going to a restaurant between customers, you basically cut delivery in half. And so the final pitch for this, I swear, if we could pull this off, the slogan would be, we will deliver cookies to your door in less time than it takes to bake. That's crazy. And that would be possible in the right town with enough demand. You can actually pull that off. Actually deliver cookies to someone's door in less time than it would take them to bake cookies in less than 20 minutes. That would be crazy. And I mean, actually be in the oven. That's how long it would take. And I was just like, yo. And then the cool thing about cookies is that they're small form factor, that you can actually put them in other types of vehicles instead of just cars. Because cars, they incur a large depreciation cost, especially considering the size and the cost of these vehicles. But I was thinking, like, what if you use motorcycles instead? And with cookies, you could put like those packages on the bike, on the back of the bike. And so bikes are a lot more affordable, at least in terms of like depreciation. And you can obviously you need people with motorcycle licenses, but or maybe Vespas work, but it dramatically reduces the cost on the driver itself because motorcycles are far more efficient fuel wise if you go with the 300cc class bike. Like I had a CBR 300R Honda, and I was getting like 60 miles a gallon. So it's just like the fuel costs are basically negligible. Insurance costs might be high though, so would have to look into that. Depreciation would be low because I bought the bike for $3,000. Like, okay, it depreciates. So what? Like, it's $3,000. So I think that makes a lot more sense for drivers. So not only could you pay drivers really well, minimum of $30 an hour, but you can also reduce, or you can dramatically reduce the costs of operating. And so, and then the cool thing is even bigger, like, I don't know, but that's basically the idea. And so virtual bakery would be cool. An idea. And I actually got registered as a cottage industry baker in California and New York when I originally lived in New York. I thought about that idea, and then I was going to do it in California too. But then I was working on a software project instead, so I had to make a choice. Do I work on the cookie idea, or do I work on the software project idea? And so I chose the software stuff. I ended up building the project. I think I might go back to the software idea. I didn't have clout back then, so literally it was just me building all this stuff and no customers. And I didn't understand all this stuff now, or even Facebook ads or anything like that. So I put all this effort into software, and yeah, it is what it is. But I had to make a choice, so I put that cookie idea on the shelf. Oh, and by the way, and then obviously maybe one day a week we would offer the chocolate chip cookies with walnuts, and obviously you would have to call that version of cookies D's nuts. And it's not stealing the idea from Mr. Beast because I came up with the idea before he did. The sucky thing about Mr. Beast is his chocolate bar D's nuts don't actually have nuts in them. It's just peanut butter flavor. Stupid. Stupid. Like how you kind of whatever. I feel some type of way about it. Fresh baked gooey's are best. Crunchy cookies are not, unless you got milk. They're not crunchy. Cookies should stay chewy. Like if your cookies are not chewy 24 hours later, use a different recipe, bro. Like cookies always taste better 24 hours. If you want the gooiness, you can always warm them up, but the flavors actually coalesce over 24 hours. So like if you want a more complex, bold, mature flavor in your chocolate chip cookie, wait 24 hours after you bake them. And you'll know this too. I'm not talking about those like Nestle, those cookie things that you put on a baking thing and then just cook them and then they're these like tiny little, no. I'm talking like proper chocolate chip cookies where there's like, they're heavy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I actually got pretty good at baking chocolate chip cookies because I used to make them a lot. And so use their mixers and whatnot at night when they're closed. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. It's like they have all this equipment and they're closed, or even you can use their staff. If they're willing to sell you cookies at a wholesale price, you can even drop the price of that. That's why I was just like, all right, so you don't even have to have your own kitchen, and those places are already health code certified. And so it's just like you just pick up the cookies from there. And then, so it'd be cool, like if I could pull this off, maybe the upcoming school season in UT, Austin here, like it'd be cool to partner with HEB on that. That'd be so cool. Even just temporarily, just to run it for 3 months and then shut it down because I don't care to run it. The funny thing is I actually submitted this idea to Y Combinator. I was just like, the math on this and financials make so much sense. And the technology part is, which I think, Kirko, you might actually find more interesting, is so you would have to be able to accept orders in real time and then solve this traveling salesman problem, which DoorDash did a whole video explaining their algorithm and how they decide all this stuff. But that's the interesting part of this whole thing for me. This Cookie City thing is like, how do you solve this delivery problem? You're going to be getting orders in real time, and how do you optimize driver paths and routes? And then how do you re-up? Because there's only so many orders they can carry at a time. And so you're probably going to have like a resupply van that can resupply each motorcyclist with a new batch of cookies that they can then deliver. And then how do you update all the apps simultaneously of all the drivers so that they're not all delivering at the same one, or the timing works out? Or how do you optimize delivery so that maybe a certain percentage of orders are delivered within a minute of being placed? Because that could technically be possible. If the goal is, the bounding condition is they all have to be delivered within 20 minutes, then possibly as a driver is fulfilling an order, there might be another order that comes in real time that gets updated. And so this is where like the Google Maps in real time, route optimization and updates would be an interesting problem to solve. Because like it's a complicated thing. When you put in maps directions and stuff, it's like you take it for granted, the calculations involved in making that happen, like finding that optimal path. But then it's even harder if you're like changing it in real time. And so what if you can add, I mean, theoretically, there would be times where someone can deliver an order that was just fulfilled, that's literally a block down. And so And I think that's where the marketing would come in, because some people, a percentage of them would receive orders within like a minute or two of placing the order, which would be revolutionary because no one has ever been able to do anything like that, where you place an order for something and then literally a minute later you hear a knock on your door and it's like, your cookies are here, bro. You know how cool that would be? Oh man, I just think the idea of that would be really cool. And so for me, the interesting part was the algorithm and how do you solve that problem. Um, are you a multimillionaire because you have ideas that will make you one soon? I'm not a multimillionaire. I have plenty of ideas. Executions tend to be my problem, and I don't care about money. I mean, if I get there, I get there, but I don't really care about money like that. So, but I'm not a multimillionaire. 30 an hour. You need employees. I'm free, dude. It'd be so cool to actually like partner with you guys one day. Just like even making these wallets or coming up with these ideas and sharing them with you, or if you guys take any of these ideas and you run with it and you actually pull it off and you just need a platform to share it with people or someone with an audience, please, I will happily promote it for you guys. Because it's like, I think things should exist in the world just for the sake of it. And it'd be cool if you guys can win off of that too. And that's what I like about what we're building here. It's not just about like, because I don't know, I see all these content creators and like they'll grift, they'll even lie to their own audience for a buck. They'll promote things they don't really care about because it just advances. It's like whatever. I don't care about that stuff. Okay, it would be awesome if we could all win in this interesting way. I think the interesting way just tickles my brain a little bit. But yeah, encourage more viewers to share. Let's see. As a small business owner with my family, we pay one employee much more than we get. Yeah, that's unfortunate. See, that's the thing. Like an employee, I don't think people who aren't businesses don't realize like employees have to be able to recoup the cost of themselves in that business. Like businesses cannot survive losing money having you as an employee. And so as an employee, you have to be able to justify your salary through your work. And so that's his value. And we're trying to build a long lasting business. I remember being in Michigan. Okay, yeah. How do you keep chewy 24 hours later? I mean, they'll stay chewy after 24 hours, but if you want to keep, here's a nice trick. If you want to keep cookies chewy for days at a time, put a piece of bread, put them in a bag and put a piece of bread in there. It turns out like the affinity of wheat or at least baked goods like bread that have high surface area is much higher than a cookie that's has a higher content of fat in it, which makes it harder for oxygen to basically that's where the staleness comes from. And so if you put a piece of bread in that bag with the cookie, the bread will become hard because it's absorbing, it's actually oxidizing with the oxygen that's in the bag. And so it doesn't oxidize the cookie as fast. And so the cookie stays fresh. Baking hack. Any baker should know this, but yeah, easy hack. Hey, Lego child. I would actually get to use combinatorics. Yeah, dude, it's a very interesting problem. The math on that would be crazy. And then it would have to be updated in real time. So I think that's where the challenge is. And then the integrating with the payment platform. So like as soon as the order comes in on that website, you would have the address information that gets piped into some maybe microservice that places it on like a shared map. Maybe, I don't know how that would work. I've read a little bit about the Google Maps API, and then you would have to figure out the finances of it all. And you could probably use Google's Routes API to manage a lot of this, but the interesting part is the updates in real time. That'd be crazy. And then you also have to figure out like, how do you deliver? What's the order of delivery? Because I don't know if you would necessarily just deliver them as they appear. Because like, what if you get an order on one side of town and then the next order is on the other side of town, but then the third order is like closer than the other side of town? And then you would just rearrange an order, and then the algorithm that decides to sort these on a map, you might have to create like a virtual grid that essentially maps out geographics in a time-based way. Okay, so like Maps are organized by distance, but in the event, but for specifically delivery, time might be the more important factor. So instead, you create a map that's based around time between points, and so you can extrapolate. It kind of reminds me of like Laplace transforms, where you actually take things into a different domain to make the math easier. So I think that's what you might have to create maps based around time between points. Oh man, I think you would appreciate that project, Kirk. That'd be really cool. That seems like more your lane. Anyone in here make merch? You get 40% of all sales if you make a good product. Live for a Buck, Radio Show Legends, Manscaped, NordVPN. Yeah, Raycon, Raycon. Yeah, bro, you yapping? Quit all that yapping. It's my job to yap, bro. Sorry. Sure, I'm half there. Sweet cheeks. 10,000 out of 10. Edge will be back tomorrow. Yeah, that would be pretty fire. Yeah, that's an interesting problem. And so that's what piqued me. It's like it looks like a cookie company, but it's actually a logistics company. And something about that just tickles me. I'm just like, it's crazy. It looks like a cookie company, but the tech behind it is like crazy cutting edge math. And I think that's the interesting part. Raycon, forgot about them. Family business has a bug delivered. Yeah, cookies. And no, but here's the thing. This would be cool to try out with chocolate chip cookies, but imagine like the hashish delivery, I feel how I feel, finding faith and all that. So I don't know if it necessarily, but this has applications outside of just cookies. I think it would just be a proof of concept with cookies. And then you sell the technology platform and the things that you built and the algorithms and the system as a software product for other industries that require real-time delivery, local delivery. I think that'd be interesting. And so it's actually a SaaS company that looks like a cookie company. So I think that'd be pretty cool. And eventually you would sell the cookie part, but whatever. Or you could sell this software to like Crumble. You could sell it to Hotbox. You could sell it to Insomnia. You could sell it to, what are the other Tiff's cookies are really big here in Texas. So it's like anything that requires delivery in real time with like maybe even applications I can't even think of. So how people are talking about drone delivery and all that. Maybe you don't need drones. Maybe you just need a better algorithm for certain products. Delivery in the AM. Got to get some sleep. Yeah. Oh, okay. It was nice seeing you here, bro. Yo, bro, now that you have the wallet, please use it and let me know what you think or if there's any ways I can improve it. I'm also experimenting with like metal corners I could add to it eventually, which if I do release a product like this, I'm definitely going to give you a discount code if you want to get one of those. I have a bunch of different ones here that I'm going to be experimenting with. But let me know. And also, if you have a review of it, let me know. It'd be awesome to get your feedback because I'm constantly looking on how to make improvements. Sound like Pablo Escobar. But have a good night, Teed. It's nice seeing you here. Cutting edge logistics company disguised as a cookie business. Yeah. I love that idea because everyone would be sleeping on the company. They'd be like, oh, you're just a cookie company. You have no clue, bro. You have no clue how we're revolutionizing logistics. And then you could stay undercover. And then by the time you actually launch the SaaS offering, your competitors can't keep up. They're like, what the hell? Where did you come from? It's just like, we tested it all out by using our own product, selling cookies. And we were a profitable cookie company. So we funded ourselves using cookies. Even this wallet idea, I think it's hilarious because like people in the future might ask like, all right, so you started a podcast and you created this whole textile company to fuse edges instead of sew. You're replacing sewing. You created this whole new technology of like fusing fabrics together in new and interesting ways. And then people are like, how'd you get started? It's like, I started and funded this whole thing by selling wallets online through a podcast. It's a crazy idea, but I don't know, man. It's just maybe crazy enough to work. Who knows? Snoop Dogg cigarettes. That's TikTok's code word for TikTok. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. That's exactly. Top three. What's a gooner? Do you like men or boys more? Dude, that's a trap question for sure. Meta corners would be sick. Yeah, I have a bunch of variations, and so I'm going to be experimenting. I put it on my own. I prototype all the stuff on my own wallet first before I even consider sharing it with you guys. I don't like how ornate a lot of these are, but it would be cool to give you guys the option to select. So like I have different versions, like a gold version or like a brass version. I just ordered some more modest designs that are just basically corners without all this intricate details and stuff. That come in three colors: gold, silver, and I think this bronze, like a matte bronze or brushed bronze kind of thing. And eventually, I might have to rebuild the Shopify site so I can let you guys select, or maybe it might actually allow me to put these options so you guys can have these as add-ons to include metal corners to them. Eventually, I just want to sell them all for like $20. It would be cool. You got it. Yeah, the algorithm is way more impactful than the mode of transportation. Yeah, the algorithm alone could sell. And then I was thinking like that's why I pitched it to Y Combinator, because I was just like, dude, if you could actually pull this off, you could revolutionize just the last mile problem essentially, which is a big problem in a lot of delivery. Like, I don't think people understand how much more efficient. Like bulk delivery is actually very, very efficient. Very efficient. It's that last mile problem where getting it to someone's door is most of the work, or at least the most expensive part of the delivery process. This is true in physical products. This is also true in informational products, or even in communications. So before this podcast, I actually started a telecommunications company with some friends. The goal was to provide high-speed internet to rural customers. And the problem rural customers have is that it doesn't make financial sense for telecommunications companies to run high-speed internet to their houses because it's so much more expensive to get that from the main trunk of that internet or the cable to that particular house because it's out of the way. And so there's all this like manpower and construction and infrastructure effort to just give it to that one home. And it turns out it's actually cost prohibitive. They will lose money on that and they'll never make it back based on the monthly payments of that one homeowner. So they're literally disincentivized to do that, to make that connection to those rural customers. And so this is what they call the last mile problem. Like you can get internet to a community, but to get it to every house in that community, that's the hard part because it's all like one-off work for each single house in that neighborhood. And so, and then net neutrality is sort of related to this because net neutrality forces these internet companies, these internet telecommunications companies to offer fixed pricing no matter where you are, which is a problem because if you live in a place where it would be more expensive to run these cables than they could ever get from monthly payments from you, they just prefer not to give you in the first place. You're just not a profitable customer to them. And so net neutrality actually hurts. It actually hurts rural customers. And it doesn't, if you live in pretty much any city in America, you're fine. You have internet and high-speed internet and access to it. But there are about 25 million homes in America that what's the board? That the government considers doesn't have adequate high-speed internet. And so there's a lot of people out there who need this, who don't have this. And so because of this last mile problem, my friends and I, or at least I identified the problem as like, what if we could solve this last mile problem instead of running cables to people's houses? What if we could provide internet through cell towers? Essentially, they make these modems that accept SIM cards. And you know how you have data on your cell phone? Essentially, it's the same thing, except it's a Wi-Fi box that you put in your home that you plug a SIM card into, and you get internet through cell towers. And the cell towers actually have the backhaul that connects to internet and stuff. And so that was the idea. and it works. The technology already exists. And so it was just a matter of selling it to these people, and then legitimizing it all. Because there are plenty of companies that do this, but they're doing it on the low. What they do is they get these tablet lines set up with these telecommunication providers. So think like AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and Sprint at the time, which now merged with T-Mobile. But that's what they would do. They would just get these tablet lines and then resell it to homes and give them these boxes that they ended up charging the families for. They actually charged their customers for these boxes that, based on the source, you can get them for, they cost about 80, 90 bucks, but they were upselling them for 400 bucks. And then they were charging people like 70, 80, 100 bucks a month for these tablet lines that they're essentially paying 10 bucks a month for. So the arbitrage was insane on these, but they're doing it on the low. These telecommunication companies did not give them the green light to do these things. So the point of the company I want to start with friends was to legitimize all of this. So actually establish these honest relationships and contracts with these telecommunication companies, and then provide the boxes too for free, because you'll make the money back on the monthly payments. And so I just wanted to make it far more accessible. And so I actually reached out to people at AT&T, T-Mobile, and we weren't successful in that part. No one. T-Mobile is the one we got the furthest with, and turns out they were working on their own internal project that they ended up releasing as their home internet option, which we didn't know about at the time. We were early, and that's the problem with being early sometimes, but not early enough, I guess. But even those boxes are programmable, and like I thought it would be cool to add like ad block built into those devices, which I did experiment with. By the way, Kirk, if you're interested, they're you can buy them. They use OpenWRT. It's like a I don't know if it's a Linux distro, but made for embedded systems like that. And there's plenty of add-ons and stuff, and I ended up building like my own version of it. That was the first time I ever got into software in any serious sense. It was really cool. Light metal frame for wallet. Light metal ain't too heavy. Idea above. Yeah, for sure. Like, how the F would you get an algorithm for it that would not result in exponential time complexity? Yeah, see, you know more about this than I do. It's a hard problem. Why did you turn off gifting? I don't think I did. And now you're putting your phone number. Cool. I have a friend whose family lives in the sticks. They recently replaced their junk ISP with Starlink. Yeah, Starlink's also another option, which, by the way, maybe it's a good thing it didn't work out, because Starlink is definitely a better option for sure. Although Starlink is like, how much is it per month? I think it's over $100 a month. The cell tower stuff, I was trying to price it at about 30 to 40 bucks a month. And you don't need a satellite dish. It's literally just a Wi-Fi box. It's technically a modem with a SIM card slot. And turns out the actual modems itself, they used to be used I don't know if you guys remember, laptops used to have cell service, and they had these like little modem things, like they're programmable and stuff, and they work under certain bands and radio frequencies. And you can buy old ones on eBay, and they work just the same. They go in these boxes and stuff. And so I actually got into like programming those things. And then I was also trying to figure out the optimization, because it was costing like 80 bucks, and the modems themselves cost like an additional like 50, 60 bucks or something. So I guess the unit itself costs about 150 bucks. But I was like, oh, what if we use these like these other ones that don't provide as many frequencies, but for the frequencies we operate in, it provides those things. So we can get away with, instead of these $60 modems, we can get away with these $20 ones or these $15 ones. And so I started getting into like @commands and all that stuff. And dude, I dove deep into that stuff, man. And it's Starlink, definitely. Yeah, because the only other option rural customers had at the time before Starlink was crappy satellite internet with like long latency times and very poor speeds. And it's like geosynchronous satellites. So I don't know, it's just really slow and sucky. Starlink, I think, is a big upgrade. So yeah. Oh, it's you again. Thanks for the glasses link. You're welcome. Oh, dude, you were on Twitch, right? Yeah, you were on Twitch. Yeah, no problem, dude. Yeah, it's like 100 minimum, I think. Yeah. And so the goal was just to make affordable internet. Some cities actually give some grant funding to actually pull this off. And the cool thing is, I was like, for cities that don't have, or for small towns and villages that don't have access to high speed internet for all their residences, I was thinking, like, what if you use central locations like a police station or like a library or like a community center and ran a fiber line to those places, which isn't that expensive to do because it's only one place and it would be basically act as the backhaul. Then you run up a cell tower in those places that provide internet to all the customers or all the families and homes in that area for that community. And the cool thing is, because libraries would be closed during peak hours, which are usually between like 6 p.m. and 10 p.m., which is where people would be at home using internet, you can get full utility out of that cell tower during peak hours. And then during the day, when the library's open and people are at work or whatever, you don't have to worry about this demand problem. And the interesting thing about cell towers, in fact, is the limitation on the bandwidth is not the bandwidth of the backhaul. In fact, it's very, very fast speeds. The limitation is the number of simultaneous connections. And so instead of, like, let's say a family of 4 who all have cell plans, who are all on their phones or devices, instead, if you can combine all those connections into one Wi-Fi connection through a home router, then you can actually increase the capacity of these cell networks during peak hours. So that was the idea. It's just like, it makes sense for the cell companies. It makes sense for the customers. It solves the last mile problem. I don't know. It just seemed like a no-brainer idea, but I couldn't get the go-ahead from T-Mobile to go and do it, which sucks. Because it's like, I know all these other people are doing it under the table. And I was just like, man. I learned a lot, though. I learned a lot. It's crazy. But yeah, that's the internet. I got a lot of ideas, guys, is what I'm saying. A lot of ideas. It's just, man, yeah, some things you just need permission. I hate things where you have to get some permission from somebody to actually go pull it off. Those are the worst. Because, like, you see the potential, you buy into the idea, you're so hopeful, you're pushing it forward, and then boom, stopped in your tracks. Now, I guess that's the part of the hustle. Like, can you still make it work? Can you overcome those permissioned problems? The less ethical way is backdooring into SS7 networks. I don't even know what SS7 is. SS7 networks. Signaling System 7. Interesting. I had no idea what this is. Okay. Sure. It's an international telecommunications protocol standard that defines how the network elements in a public switched telephone network. I don't know. Telephone network? Exchange information control signals. Nodes in an SS7 network are called signaling points. It's the system that controls how telephone calls are routed and billed, and it enables advanced. Okay. What's the bandwidth on those things? That's the thing. Like, okay, bandwidth. Let's look it up. I don't know. Operators deploy SS7 services over a dedicated network of 56 to 64 kilobits per second time division multiplexed lines, or use high-speed 1.5 megabits per second. Not even close, dude. I did the calculations in order to, and I figured the most likely thing people are going to do with the internet connection is stream HD video, which requires about 9 megabits per second minimum or average. So you need to provide at least 9 megabits per second steady state, which, I mean, the system that we were using, it wasn't the fastest. It was like 30 megabits per second, but that's more than enough. Yeah, that's more. Yeah, it is more old school stuff though, for sure. But yeah, 9 megabits per second is the minimum, I think, to stream video. But it's interesting stuff, man. It's interesting stuff. I don't know. I have all these hardware ideas, and I just don't have the background or technology or the knowledge to be able to pull. I know theoretically how to pull it off. I just don't know the details of it, so I end up having to learn everything from scratch, which slows everything down. If I dedicated fully, man, I think I could pull off some of these ideas, but I think my mind wanders too much, and I'm still trying to figure out like where I should focus all my attention on. To be honest, very few people have that type of knowledge. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If we want to create interesting things in the world, people are going to have to go do these things, you know? And I don't see anybody doing it. So it's got to be people like us, I guess, which sucks because I don't know if it sucks. I think maybe it's like a calling or a purpose, you know? I feel like you're destined to do some pretty interesting stuff, man. It's just a matter of like what calls you, what you end up deciding to do. But yeah, not a lot of people build tech for fun, you know? So yeah, people are going to have to come together to get it done. Yeah, eventually. I mean, like, I think Elon said this. I don't know. He says a lot of things. But, you know, people talk about become the change you want to see in the world. That's what this means. It means doing the hard things, even though there are easier things to do. You know, it's funny. I'm reading this book right now, Flash Boys, that talks about how essentially people, high frequency traders and people like yourself, like quants, all these software people and math people figured out ways to help hedge funds be faster than everybody else. So their code is super, super efficient. So they can actually make trades faster than everyone else. And they can beat the market essentially every time because they can essentially see your order. They're privy to information faster than everybody else. And they could see your order and then beat you to it. And so like all this talent, all this intellect to go be faster, milliseconds, microseconds faster than everybody else to basically print money. And then I start realizing, you know, I'm reading this book. I'm like, what a goddamn shame that all this intellect is wasted to go be microseconds faster than everybody else to make money. That's it. All that intellect, all that mental power to just print more money. Why? It's like, couldn't they be doing something? I don't know. I guess it's up to them. And then it turns out the people who end up discovering that this is what's happening in the market are incentivized to become a part of the problem. So when people see this happening and they notice, hey, there's something wrong with the market. Why is it that anytime I put in a large order, only some of it is fulfilled and then everything else? Like I am the event. When I place my buy order, for whatever reason, I see the price of this stock goes up because of my order. And this guy noticed this was happening. He was like, what the hell's going on? And his tech guys were like, bro, that's just the market. The markets, there are millions of transactions that are happening every second. It's not you. It's you're just seeing things. He's like, look, watch this. I'm going to count down from 5. And the moment I hit this buy order, all of a sudden the price of this stock will go up. Watch. And then he counts down 5, 4, look at it. It hasn't changed. 3, look, it hasn't changed yet. 2, it hasn't changed. 1, and then finally presses the button, hits buy, and boom, the stock goes up. He realized he was the event that was changing the price. And that's not how it should work. And it turns out it's because people were seeing part of his order being fulfilled and then would beat him to the remaining shares that he wanted to fulfill and buying it before him and then raising the price. And then it turns out any person, and then he realized like, why haven't people been talking about this? So he goes around Wall Street to all these people trying to ask people questions like, what the hell's going on here? And it turns out the people who do know were really hush hush, because it turns out when people discover what's happening, instead of blowing the whistle, they just become a part of the problem because it's easy money. And so it took a Canadian working for the Royal Bank of Canada with some morals to actually change the system and make it public. And it's just, man, it's just a shame, dude. I am Brimbish. Hi, Peter. Who's Peter? Agree, all that power wasted on not actually building anything. Yeah, man. And so it's just like, what the hell? I mean,
has it always been this way? Or is this a recent phenomenon? I don't know. But it's like, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to actually make real things. And yes, it means suffering because a lot of the things are going to be a grind to build and a lot of them are going to fail. And that's just the nature of it. But like, why go through all that if it means you can just make money and live an easy life? And I'm just like, what is the point of all this if we're going to be living life that way, you know? Peter, I just got back from your mom. Okay. Yeah, the shit is rigged. There's no way you have this much money moving with no backdoor. Yeah. Essentially, it's like a backdoor. Effectively worked that way. And one of the guys that this guy brought on to like help solve this problem, he discovered this was when he's told this, he's like, no way, is this true? He goes and does research and asks himself, why is this even possible? How did this happen? What led to this? And it turns out it was because of regulations that were put in place to prevent a former way of scamming the system, which then he goes back and looks at the history of that and realized the only reason it was that way in the first place was because of regulation that was put in place to stop a previous way of scamming. And then he goes back all the way back to the 1800s of the history of the stock market to find out like this always happens. This always happens. As soon as regulation comes in to stop one way of making money, it creates another way to cheat the market too. And so he realizes regulation can't solve this problem. There has to be a free market solution. Someone has to create a commercial solution for this. Otherwise, government can't save you. And so that's essentially what these group of guys ended up doing, creating their own exchange, essentially where things can actually be fair. They call it IEX. It's a, what are they? Let me look up the acronym. IEX exchange. Investors Exchange, LLC. Yeah. It started by the guy who discovered all this stuff. Is a stock exchange in the United States. It was founded in 2012 in order to mitigate the effects of high frequency trading. Yeah. Yeah. Spin move. I said spin move. Oh no. Every patch reveals more vulnerabilities. Yeah. Essentially that's what was happening. Like people were thinking that regulatory stuff could actually solve this problem and it just couldn't. It just created more problems. Turns out the reason why high frequency trading works and people can take advantage of this like discrepancy between prices between exchanges was because of this SEC rule or this law or regulation that was passed that requires firms who are investing on behalf of their buyers to go with the lowest priced offering first. So essentially these high frequency trading firms could see that, okay, here's the lowest price for this stock at this exchange specifically in real time, which hasn't been updated in the global information system yet. And so they knew the order would come from that place first. And so they could watch it. And then as soon as that order was placed, they can go and beat it to the other exchanges because they're faster. They're literally co-located, bro. Like, you know this, like the speed, the time it takes for information to travel through wires is in the milliseconds to microseconds range. And what these people were doing essentially was trying to get as close to the source of information as possible. What they ended up doing was actually bidding for space, server space, you know, like server racks and stuff. They were literally bidding for how close they could get to the exchange's servers. And so they're like they were actually competing on how to get as close as possible to the stock exchange's servers themselves. And to the point that they were bidding up, like they call it co-location. And the exchanges themselves were bidding off these locations because they knew how advantageous being closer to the machine was, because it shaved off those microseconds, those extra microseconds you needed to see the price and make a trade before the orders got fulfilled. It was crazy, like to the point that it all became super secretive. At one point he recalls a time where this high frequency trading firm bought out an old server rack with the Toys R Us logo, because they must have replaced their servers or whatever, and they asked the service guy to keep the Toys R Us logo on there so their competitors wouldn't know how much closer they are to that exchange server. It's just like, it's wild, bro. And then it's all this intellect wasted for how to shave microseconds. It's just like all this effort to make money. And I don't know, it's just crazy. And I don't know, it's just wild. This is why I think you'd really enjoy the book. You'd be like, I don't know if you would just be, your mind would be blown, or maybe it might inspire you to go work for high frequency trading firms because maybe you just like the science of it all. It could very well inspire you because like it turns out like these books as written as a way to warn and document how bad the system is actually invites people who are like, oh, it's free money essentially, or like it's an interesting problem, you can get paid hella money to do this. And yeah, it turns out before all this stuff even happened, certain, I don't know, we can talk about networking and you know a little bit, you know way more about networking than I do, but essentially there were certain network lines, paths between servers or between exchanges that the telecommunication companies, so we're talking about like internet service providers, all that stuff, they didn't know how valuable what they had was. Because apparently Verizon owned a connection or a path of cables that connected two exchanges that was like 2 milliseconds faster than all the other paths. And and all the high frequency trading firms knew of this, and so they bought they actually bought those lines, or at least bought connections on those lines. And Verizon didn't even know how valuable what they had was. They were just charging the flat rate for it. And it's like, if only they knew what they were sitting on, they would be making a killing. And they didn't, because no one knew this was going on. It was all very hush hush. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And I think it would be a really sitting on gold, basically. And it would be really cool to turn this into a movie. If someone made a movie about this, it would be like on the level of The Big Short, which might be my favorite movie, which is also a book written by the same author, Michael Lewis. But that one's about the 2008 housing crash and the story of the few investors who saw it happening and were able to make a killing off of it. I thought this was Legion. Okay, I don't know. But yeah, it's also a very easy read too. I don't know how this guy's able to write this well or how he frames the story so well, but it's so easy to read. I'm almost halfway through the book and I just started rereading it. But yeah. I thought this was Legion. Let me join. I'm about to get off soon in probably like 9 minutes. Yeah, I'll call it a even 3 hours and call it quits. But right now we're talking about computing systems and entrepreneurship and crazy ideas. I don't know. I know I kind of look douchey with these glasses on, but I mean, these lights are pretty bright and it's 10:54 p.m. where I am right now. So, and yeah, these are magnets. These are magnets. If that Citigroup heist in '94 didn't happen, I bet those networks would be wide open and unguarded. Citigroup heist? Haven't heard of that one. Citigroup heist. Great cyber bank heist? Interesting. Ooh. The Citibank hack in 1994 marked a turning point for banking and cybercrime as we know it. What we can learn. Fell victim to what many consider one of the first great cybercrimes. Vladimir Levin made hit headline. Why is it always a Vladimir? Vladimir, who's always doing some shady cyber stuff. 1994, when he tricked the bank into accessing a $10 million from several large corporate customers via their dial-up wire transfer. Levin transferred the money to accounts set up in Finland, the United States, Netherlands, Germany, and Israel. He was eventually caught, and Citibank ultimately recovered most of the money. Looking back, it may be the first successful penetration into the systems that transferred trillions of dollars a day around the globe. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it turns out like the only reason security exists is because someone took advantage of it in the first place.
I guess that's true for everything. The only reason we take our shoes off at the airport is because someone tried to smuggle something through their shoes. Like, it's all after the fact stuff. The whole situation is a rabbit hole. Hackers actually had access since 92. Ooh. And they never took advantage of it, but they never touched the money. Ah, got it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. You got to be careful around Vladimirs. You know, you got the Putins, you got this guy. What can you do when he go to no? I don't know what you mean, Bella. Beauty from mommy, God first, open arms, SZA. I don't know what any of that means. Like they had access to the networks that would facilitate financial transactions. Yeah. If it's anything like, I wonder if it uses the phone tones thing. Interesting. The banking industry, banks were struggling to lower costs while improving customer access, and we saw physical branches and human tellers being replaced by ATM machines and electronic services. Yeah. I can't remember if they use tones. Yeah. That's crazy. Okay. Dark reading. Interesting. Yeah, turns out that was yeah, I don't know. You know what's even crazier? Like with this whole high frequency trading stuff, there was a guy who took some of his code and tried to go to another firm, and it's considered highly valuable intellectual property, as you can imagine. And the guy got jail time because of it. Yeah. That's how much money these people were making off of this technology. Ah, man, it sucks. It really sucks. But whatever. It is what it is. I wonder if Zenny has an API. These guys gave me Zenny API. Whoa. How Zenny Optical uses Easy Post Shipping API to centralize data and scale. Was using another system where they needed a computer for each station, which made it challenging to manage all orders without falling behind. Huh. Easy Post. It'd be cool if like physical businesses had APIs for orders so that anyone could become like an affiliate and sell their stuff for them. It's like free money. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough demand out there, but it'd be cool to just like integrate with existing businesses so I can sell their stuff. But then, or maybe, I don't know, I guess I could put together like a Puppeteer app or something that just does the clicks and form fills as I need it. But it seems a little excessive, you know? But yeah, if people actually want frames that are glasses and then they just wear these all the time, that'd be interesting. I don't know if there's a market for that though, but it would be cool to like make, or if I can find, yeah, where they get because they sell these frames for $6.95. I think they actually charge. Let's see. Prescription, new customer, single vision, enter your prescription manually. Let's do that. You can't enter 0 for a prescription though. Please fill in all required prescription fields to proceed. You can also shop for non-prescription frames. Ooh, cool. There you go. I guess you can shop for non-prescription frames. That's cool. And then you have to choose the lens type. You probably want, let's see, general use. You don't want them to be too heavy, so you probably want to use something with a higher index. Polycarbonate impact resistance, probably better. That's an additional $9 on the thing. I think that's what I have on these glasses. Gotta go, though, bro. Have a good one. You too, bro. You too. One more minute, guys. One more minute. I'm going to end the stream.
You guys have any questions, last minute answers, or whatever? Feel free, leave it in the chat. Let me see who's on here. Trista, Pop, Spirit, Fox, a guy like Perps, Shank, and Tara. It's been nice having you guys here. 30 seconds left. If there's anything, I wonder if I should tell you guys to like and subscribe. Here's the thing. I don't care to tell you guys because like if you think it's good enough, you'll actively do it. Like I've never had to tell someone to follow the Instagram account. People just did it. And that's how you know your stuff is good enough or it's resonating with certain people when they actively do something without you asking. So consider that if you're putting anything out there that's public facing. You don't have to tell people to go listen to your stuff or, well, maybe you do, but you don't have to tell people to like and subscribe. If they really like it, they'll like it. If they really like your stuff and they want to see more of it, they will subscribe. You don't have to actually tell people. Otherwise, if you're telling people, then you're trying to like take a shortcut there instead of actually getting the stuff to get to a point that is so good that people will do it without you asking. But yeah, that's 3 hours streaming made up for Sunday that I missed. I appreciate everyone. Thank you, all of you guys, for watching. This has been Table Moments Live. New episode of the podcast released a few days ago. Check it out on any podcasting stream or on YouTube. It's a video podcast as well. So check it out, Table Moments Podcast on YouTube. Please search the whole thing. Otherwise, if you just search Table Moments, you're going to get a bunch of WWE highlights. Apparently a table moment is when one wrestler throws another wrestler on a table, or if anything involving a table happens with wrestling or whatever. But yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you all you guys. We'll keep doing this and once a week, usually Sundays, and look forward to improvements on this product on Instagram. I share the updates as Instagram stories. And if you're interested, get it on the website. I do have it on TikTok Shop, but it's better on the website because you get a little extra something and it's $5 cheaper. So yeah, thank you. Bye everyone. Bye. Whew. Let's end.